time is now.
You are listening to NUFC Talk Radio, the voice of the Toon Army. Live daily on the website, on YouTube, and on every online radio directory. NUFC Talk, the voice of the Toon Army.
Hey, welcome to the early show on NUFC Talk. I've got myself, the Geordie Yam Yam. I've got Molly Weird, I've got Boki, got Tim, and obviously Christina Tooney in the background there. Full house on the early show. So welcome one and all, and welcome everybody out there in Viewerland. I hope you're well and getting ready for Crimbo, because like I say, Christmas has started early for us as we are now in the semi-finals. So we'll get into all the news of today. Suppose we should have a quick look about what happened yesterday. Obviously, the mighty win had to go home early because he wasn't feeling too good, and the lads went on to win. So we'll have a little chat about yesterday's game. Nothing major. Got one or two highlights to look at. But before we get into that, I suppose what we can do is do the housework, and then we'll crack on with the show. Welcome to everybody watching across all the platforms. Thanks to everybody that works in the background. Don't forget, people out there in Viewerland, smash that like button for us. It certainly helps us get further as a channel. Subscribe, totally free. Hit that bell for future content. That 30-minute warning will always give you the chance to get on board when we go live. Always live, never edited. If you want to support us, you can become a member for a small monthly fee. If you can afford to do so, but it certainly would be a great present for all of us here at Talk. If you've got a question for any of us in the panel, then put a Q in front of it, but it ain't guaranteed. Lots of people want to have their opinions and their views. So if you do want to guarantee it, then use the $, throw us a Talk TV Super Chat, and that will guarantee that message read out. And anybody that becomes a member during the show, or anybody that loves to gift them, will also be thanked. I'm going to come to you, Mighty, because like I say, I know you missed the post-match show yesterday. I saw you with Chris this morning. I got you in the background. And Chris come back on, our caller from last night, and was very apologetic. There's no need to apologise on this show. You're everybody's got an opinion. Even though me and Boki had one ear out, because like obviously it was a bit too shouty for me. And like I say, feel free. Obviously, on this part of the show, there's no phoning. So the only way you can get your voice heard is literally from a super chat. If you want to do that, that'll be grand. So, Mighty, I've heard of... me and Boki have said our piece regarding last night's game. I haven't heard from you three. So I'm going to come to you first, matey. Like I say, I know you're not feeling 100%, so thanks for being with us. What was your thoughts then? Well, I know you only watched the first half, bless you. I know you wasn't.
I watched it all. I hopped in a taxi at half time and watched the second half on the telly.
Oh, you managed to get to the second half
while listening to you lot.
Oh well, good on you. Good on you. So, what was your impressions overall then? Because I know you said to Chris that you weren't overly enhamoured by the performance.
No, it wasn't brilliant by any stretch of the imagination, but it was 100% improvement on Sunday, if for no other reason than the desire and commitment appeared to be there, which was completely missing on Sunday. But the other really positive thing to come out of it, despite a fairly disjointed performance, I thought overall, there were passages which were brilliant.
Yeah, spells, weren't they?
But they were few and far between. But the main thing was Wissa, and he was at times he was doing his dinger with the play. He was making runs. And when he wasn't getting the ball, he was really letting the rest of the players know about it, which I thought was excellent. And also the fact that he stayed in the box, which when there's a player in the box, the wingers have got an incentive to try and cross the ball. And those stats yesterday, 27 crosses in the first half, is completely different from anything that's happened so far this season. Not a lot of good ones among them.
I was going to say, I looked at Murphy's at the end of full time, just while I was listening to the guys in the background. And I must admit, he crossed 9 balls and not one of them went to a black and white shirt. And I think that was the telltale. You can still have people cross into the box, but unless that cross is in a position where you're going to get something out of it. I mean, don't get me wrong, Wissa's goal.
That, what it does is, if you're crossing the box, the cross that he put in for the goal counts as a missed cross.
Yeah,
but it ultimately led to the goal.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm going to go back slightly and just talk about what you've just said there about Wissa, because if you look at just Wissa's movement, what he does with Anderson was move him towards the back stick. It's as if he's waiting for the ball at the back post. And Anderson, he's obviously looking at where the ball's coming from, and he moves his body line going to try and block that run, if you like, of Wissa. And Wissa just, and I've always said it, hit that near post. Any striker worth his salt, the area that you're gonna win majority of your balls is in between the two centre halves, and with Cuenca and Anderson. And again, it was some good movement from Murphy, I must admit. And he drove it in there, and I haven't got a clue what their keeper was doing, but he had a bit of a dodgy game throughout the entire match, if I'm honest. But you're right. I'm like,
we were looking at him once upon a time.
Yeah, we were. I mean, there was spells in the game. I thought there was some nice build-up play. I thought Miley was absolutely outstanding, but I also liked the work of Ramsey. I must admit, I was, watching just what he was doing. And again, he caused another problem, if you like. Not 100% sure of where Willock was playing most of the time. He seemed to have more of a free role. But again, leading to their goal, it was Murphy. Even though, a lot of people were saying people weren't watching their runners. If you actually look at the way the goal come across, if Murphy had have picked Robinson up because he'd run behind him, I don't think the cross would have ever come in. Because Miley obviously was doing his job. And like I say, playing out of position, I thought, I can see Miley being our right back for a while. If he carries on that form, I must admit. Tim, what did you think of the game yesterday, mate?
I was obviously happy with, I think, the performance in general and obviously the results. And I think that... I'm going to give them credit because it was a nightmare, obviously, against the Mackhams, and they came out to face the music. And I know we're playing Fulham, who rested players, etc. But I think it was a good performance, and like you say, we played some nice stuff at times. And just running through some of the players, I think Ramsey, to me, he caught my eye as well. I thought Ramsey really staked his claim because not only I thought was he nice on the ball and he was showing his good touch. He was good to release the ball early, but he was also tough and combative. Do you know what I mean? Like, I thought he got up and down the pitch really well, and he showed that he can play in that middle three for me. And I'd like to see more of him in there. I thought he had a really good game, and like you say, what a difference to have Wissa up front, where he's on the shoulder and he's looking to get in behind. And for that goal, I think he actually anticipated the keeper doing that, punching it out like that. It was brilliant movement, and it's that 6-yard box, isn't it?
It was brilliant reflexes.
Aye, to have a strike in that 6-yard box, that's what happens. And like you say, when you're putting balls in the box, it's not just the fact that you have someone on the end of it directly. It's the initial confusion with defender and goalkeeper. And to Murphy's credit, I thought he was kind of getting back to his best, even though there's discussion around should he be playing if he's carrying an injury. But purely in isolation, I thought he played well. I know that obviously a lot of these crosses, or all of his crosses, you're saying, Gary, didn't meet a Newcastle player, but I'd rather our right winger in Murphy, whoever it is out there, try and put some good balls in and get it in that corridor of uncertainty and test their defenders and test their goalkeeper. So that
especially
was
on a night like last night, because it was wet.
Exactly.
It was slippy. Nothing was really going to stick. So you're absolutely right, and I think no player likes to be facing his own goal. We saw what happened, bless him, at Walter Mada against the Mackhams. Sometimes when you're just slightly out of position, you turn 180, you're facing your own goal, anything can happen. And like I say, the proof was there to be seen again last night when the keeper made a bit of a rick for Wissa. But you're right. I mean, players do have to get it in. And it's really interesting, because we made the substitutions. It was very late on the game. And we took the 2 wide men off that, did okay, nothing spectacular. And brought on Elanga and Anthony Gordon. Elanga attempted one cross, which didn't get executed very well. And Anthony Gordon didn't attempt a cross at all. It certainly makes me wonder what is happening to the Anthony Gordon that we bought, especially that first full season after he'd had that time to settle in from the January period. Certainly
we've got a dilemma, Gary, haven't we, now going forward? Sorry, mate. Just with Barnes and Gordon for this Chelsea game. Really, for me, you want to have Barnes in the team going forward, but do you have Anthony Gordon back in for freshness? But to me, I think Barnes needs to be in the team for that left slot. I mean, right wing, it's a difficult one if we're managing Murphy's minutes with injury. But just one thing I'll just say as well is I thought Bruno as well. I thought he played really well. And
second half, I thought Bruno come to life, definitely.
Aye. And I don't like, I think sometimes his antics in terms of the gesturing to the crowd and stuff, sometimes it's a bit over the top in that I kind of think just concentrate on the game. But at the same time, I do appreciate, I think he's genuinely passionate about being our captain. You know what I mean? And I think, like you say, second half, he stepped up, and I don't kind of take that lightly. So I thought he was really good.
See, I don't mind the players doing it in the right space, in the right time, and in the right moment. Getting the crowd going, especially like a decent challenge or something like that. Because what you want to do, because sometimes when you're playing in a game, I know it's not really crazy, you don't actually engage with the crowd much. Your focus is on the game. So the chance to get that, if the crowd goes a little bit stale, in noise, if you get something where, you can see the lads have got to put a bit of effort in for the last 5 or 10 minutes just to see the game out, to do something like that, where you get that crunching tackle in and you get the crowd going again, it's a massive impetus, not on the player that's just delegated that, on the rest of the team as well, because it's like they feel that noise coming around the ground. So I don't mind that. But again, it's got to be done at the right time. The one thing I really dislike, and I've seen a lot more this season, unfortunately, from J7, is when he's looking for a foul and he sits his bum on the ground and he waits, and the game is still going on. And sometimes, instead of arguing with the players around you, get back on your feet, get back into the game, and then when the game goes dead, have a word with the ref then. Don't argue while you're still on the floor and the game is continuing to play. Doesn't make any sense to me, that. I would imagine Miley, your best player of the game.
I mean, Ramsey was my standout, but I mean, Miley was quality at right back. And a lot of not criticism, but question marks, and criticism when the team sheet came out, and I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I was listening to you in the background, mate. It was like, what the heck?
Yeah,
you and me both, by the way.
Aye, and I was thinking, Shahar, the youngster, put him in. But you've got to give credit if it works out, and it worked out, didn't it? And we've seen Zoboslai for Liverpool, who was a centre mid, go right back, and it's not a case of playing the traditional role, because obviously they come inside, don't they, into the number 6 position.
Number 6.
So you've got to kind of see it for what it is, and I don't want that to be a permanent thing, but maybe it's a temporary solution for now.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it. The likes of Caicedo do it for Chelsea, haven't we? He'll play at right back when Reece James was injured, drops into that 6, plays his natural position. The difference for me yesterday, having Marley at right back, and again, you look at the 2 shots that the lad had, both on target. One was a goal, both great shots as well. And
the other one led to the corner that he scored from.
That's what I said. Yeah, it was a great shot, good save, tip round the corner. And then obviously from the direct corner from that, he flicks in for the goal. So
as Tangy Vivid saying in the chat, there, it was Walter Mada who laid off the ball to Miley for that shot.
And that's it. You see, it's like it's difficult to try and pinpoint what Walter Mada is, because as I was saying to the lads last night, for me, he's like a hybrid. He's not a 9, he's not a 10. He's a combination of the two. And it's very difficult, especially when you've got a team set up the way we have, because you've got no players around him or no players to run off him. Recently, when Walter Mada has taken a lot of the responsibility, and you have to say it's been responsibility for Newcastle, I think he's led the line as the best of his ability, even though that's not his natural position. And getting 7 goals for us already, I think you can do nothing but clap your hands and applaud the lad. But I think if you played with that, 10 or a high 8, if you like, somebody who's got that, movement to go forward. And I think, like yesterday, that would have probably suited him more against Fulham, because you'd had Ramsey and Willock both running in the channels towards him. I think you'd have probably worked a little bit more than the wings did for Wissa, because again, you're playing that different roles. So yesterday's game centrally for me probably suited Walter Mada more, but the wings obviously suited Wissa more in the end. Christine, I know you were in the chat a lot yesterday while you were watching the game. What was your thoughts then, Serena, on what you saw? Who was the highs? Who was the lows? Was there a low for you? Because you're very happy clapper, extraordinaire.
I am quite happy clapper. I think most of the team played fantastically. I think the only player who I can remember putting a single foot wrong was TINO Livramento, not making a pass when he should have. He probably should have went backwards at one point, lost the ball. We won the ball straight back, so it didn't end up making a big difference. I think both centre-backs played fantastically, sharp, throwing fantastic passes around the pitch. I think Wissa, obviously, as it's been mentioned by Wim, such a difference to the team, having that outlet that's pushing forward, that's giving us a quick pass forward, that's there for through balls, that's there for balls over the top. I was impressed with Harvey Barnes. I like his calmness when he's on the ball. I think he seems more technical than Anthony Gordon has looked this season. So he would definitely be my first choice of the two of them. Again, Ramsey and Miley, I mean, both absolutely amazing throughout the entire game. And Murphy as well. The only thing that struck me yesterday was how wide we play. Like, if you look, when we're in possession, Shaw was practically a left back. Chow was practically a right back. Like, that's another reason for me why we could maybe do with a holding midfielder going forward, just because of how wide our centre-backs get. And I mean, it looks good, and when it works, it opens up passing channels, which was another thing from yesterday. I know some people haven't been overly hammered by the performance, but I liked the way that players were moving off the ball to make passing channels. Like, there always seemed to be a pass there. The passing was closer. It wasn't just like hitting a ball and hitting it directly to one of the other team's players. So I think there was a lot of positives from last night. I was really excited, which you probably saw in the chat.
We certainly did.
It was, in my defence, I've had a couple of drinks. I do apologise.
You've got nothing to apologise for.
I was really happy with it.
No, absolutely happy with that. I mean, it's like I said, there was good and bad points, and again, I've gone through all the stats and everything else, and you can see how well Miley had done, and that's what I said. Everybody was pulling for Miley, and if I wouldn't be, I wouldn't be honest if I didn't say you could see who was the standout performer. But I was like Tim. I just wanted to give a shout out to somebody who we'd been potentially looking for some time to control that ball in the midfield. And I think that was the only real disappointment, wasn't it? The fact that we still gave the ball away pretty cheaply in poor areas. I mean, and Miley wasn't at fault for that, because he did one himself where he did well to get the ball back, but instead of clearing it down the line, he tried to play the ball inside, lost his footing a little bit, and gave the ball away. Didn't come to any harm, but against the likes of Man City, who we've got now in the semi-finals, them are things that we've got to sharpen up on. Because, like I say, teams like them will come and really bury them. So it's something we need to be well aware of. Right, let's get into some news. Because I can see I've started a couple in the chat, Win. If you want to do them, let me know if you're struggling with your you're coughing, talking too much, mate, and we can get Bulky to do it.
This talk of Target coming back, that is worrying because we can't get him till January. So why are we not buying a left back if we need one? If not two. I mean, two fullbacks, I presume.
Yeah. We're going to get into that. We are going to get into that.
Move injury-prone Hall into midfield. Is there another one in the midfield?
Yeah,
Tony T and the Knowing Tree. Question for us. What would you rate that performance out of 10? And what performance rating-wise has been our best this season?
Can I quickly answer that one just to put a bit of context on what's been said as well through the chat there, through you guys' chat? Obviously, I agree with everything you said. It was a good game, good result for us, but we weren't great. It was a poor Fulham side that we played. So, likes of after the Sunderland game when we lost, and let's just put a little bit of context on it there. We need to put a little bit of context on this one as well. You know, we've done this all season where we've played in cups and got the result, but then haven't been able to replicate it in the next couple of games. So let's put a little bit of context. Let's not be down on the team. As I say, last night was a good result, and we won the game. We won the game, but as I say, we didn't play brilliant football all night, and we're certainly, we need to improve still moving forward. Out of 10 last night, I would say it was a 6 out of 10 performance.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with that. I'm just the way I look at the last night. I said 6.5, maybe 6, and if I want to push it, I'd probably say a 7 max. But what I did see in that game, and again, there's a lot of pressure on that game because of the reaction that you've had social media wise. Like I say, a lot of players read stories, they read social media, may not be coming across on the Newcastle channels type of thing, but they certainly get the reaction and they will have heard the noise that came from the fans because there were a lot of, even Craig Hope highlighted certain chats have been a bit incredible. So I think go on, mate.
Sorry, go on.
And the other thing I'm going to say from that is, I think a lot of the issues that Newcastle are finding themselves under, they should put themselves under a lot of pressure themselves individually. One, because of poor performances. Two, changing in positions, rotation of players. At home, that carries its own pressure because you've got to try and get a game together. And there was like I say, there was a couple of players yesterday did okay, but could have done better. And like I say, ball retention for me against all the bigger names as well. Because, I mean, even the likes of TINO when he come on, still gave the ball away pretty easily. So,
well, I was about to say, I thought that was another one of the high spots yesterday, that when TINO came on, he looked to be...
hungry again.
Hungry, exactly. Yeah, he looked like he gave her one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with that. His recovery was phenomenal, down that right-hand side as well. When Marley had gone forward, he was the one that saw the opportunity to recover. So all I want to say is, I know what Balky said, and you're absolutely spot on, but I also think there was a hell of a lot more pressure on that game, on the rebound and reaction of the Mackham game, than there would have been an ordinary game. Sorry, Tim, what was you going to say, dude?
No, mate, sorry, just kind of like, that's kind of my point as well, in that you say, Balky, like context, but like that's kind of my context as well with this game, where it was off the back of the Mackhams and the pressure on that game to respond. I don't know, like you say, it's Fulham, second string, etc., the rested players, but the spotlight was on, and we also conceded the goal. So we score, and then as per usual, we can't keep the lead. So it's like, there you go again, right? You're doing this again, lads. But that in itself was more pressure to say, look, you need to step up, you need to continue. And I thought, like you say, it was a bit scrappy at times, and I think there was a really nice football mixed in with some scrappiness. But I thought they persisted. The heads didn't go down when everyone in the ground is like, like looking at them. Like I said, with a lot of pressure. Yeah, exactly, and kind of maybe tapping the watch to say, look, we still haven't got the second goal here. So I was just pleased with that persistence, and And like you say, Bogey, I understand going forward, Chelsea and the weekend a different matter, and certainly Man City in the next round of the cup is a different matter. So, yeah, we've got to keep our feet in the ground that way. But to be honest, before the game, even though it was Fulham, I wasn't 100% confident, because I was thinking who's going to be turning up here, which Newcastle's going to turn up. So,
well, that takes us nicely for me anyway to the second part of Tony T's question. Which performance rating-wise do you think's been our best this season? Because I'll start that, because despite what I keep on having this argument, I think Fulham in the league was our best performance. We ended up winning a 2-1 in the dying minutes, the same as this one. But it was a far, far better performance than last night's. As I keep on saying, and people laugh at us, we could have had 6. If we'd got 6 or 7 that day, it would not have been a travesty, because the chances were created in that game were much better than anything we created yesterday. And Fulham, for me, is probably the best performance. 90 minutes best performance of the season for me.
And back to reality, Man City, surely.
As a result, yes. But I'm talking about as a performance. He's saying what performance, rating-wise.
But you've got to think the team that you're playing as well. Win again, Fulham aren't a great team. Man City are a great team. So for me, I think the Man City game stands head and shoulder above everything else.
Yeah, see, I'd always go with the Liverpool game.
I was going to say, I thought we played better against Liverpool than we did against Man City.
I mean, the Liverpool second half, yeah, exactly, down to 10 men and obviously 2 goals down. I mean, I know we lost, but the amount of work and the way the guys set around that, running those extra yards for each other, I thought the second half against Liverpool was probably second to none that I've seen in a black and white shirt for a very long time. What about yourself, Pete? Tim, sorry.
I mean, I get Wynn's point. I thought the Fulham game in the Premier League, was a good performance, and we should have been out of sight in that. And by the fact that we scored last minute makes it look like more of a scrappy performance, and maybe I think what it was. But like you say about Man City, and that was pressure there on that game as well. I think it was kind of, we hadn't been in a good run before then, so I think either Man City or, like you say, Gary, Liverpool, it's hard to separate. I mean, Liverpool was I thought it was epic, that I thought, and it was such a shame that we conceded last minute, because even if it was a point at the end, we would have went off in the sunset to say, sort of like, screw you, Liverpool.
Did it feel like a win, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Aye.
It would have. Christina?
Obviously the Man City and the Liverpool game, as I mentioned, the Fulham game, the original one, the Everton game, just because of the scoreline. I was also quite impressed with the Tottenham game up until the defending part. And I think that was one of the things I was most happy with last night, is that even though we conceded the goal, still we kept attacking, we kept our shape. So yeah, those are the games that I've thought have been the best, rating wise.
Yeah, I mean, it's really funny, isn't it? Because everything seemed to come together for Everton. Even though I did think, again, that for me, it's been ball retention has been a lot poor. The problem is with that against Everton, on the day, Everton were the poorer side. They, you talk about that home advantage and everything else. Everybody had said that it's really difficult to get a result at the new stadium, and Newcastle just seemed to make that an easy game. But I do think, unfortunately, with the EBGBs that Newcastle have had this season regarding ball retention, on the day Everton had the same problem. So I'm looking at class of opposition. Again, if you lose the ball, as we saw with Liverpool getting that last minute winner. Teams that can come and hurt you if you don't hang on to the ball yourself. And I think the lads had just run too hard for 40 minutes, because the last 5 minutes seemed like we were, running through treacle at times to try and recover back. And like I say, for me, that was probably pound for pound the best game I've seen. But regarding
was as in with a
go on.
super chat, you've got a new name, KG. KG, can we take Daddy Derek to Primark this weekend?
Excellent. So let's go and have a look at what Craig Hope has been talking about. And obviously, there's probably a little bit to get through in this next hour. So what he's talking about is like Newcastle will definitely be active in the January market. And the hope is to accelerate their succession planning in key areas, even if major spend is not anticipated. A midfielder, a centre-back and full-backs are the position currently being discussed. There is a recognition that the average age of the squad needs to come down, and the focus is on young European talent with scope for development. High ceilings is a phrase being used when it comes to identifying those players. So I'm going to read a few off. These are the players that we're going to be potentially looking towards. We all know about the Keith Smith from AZ. There's Auxerre's Kevin Danois. There's Feyenoord's Luciano Valente. Monaco's Lamine Camara. And they're the midfielders that have obviously been monitored. And there's a Toulouse defender called Dayan Matali, who's a 19-year-old and has also thought to be high on Newcastle's wish list. So what I've done quite sneakily is I've had a quick look at these lads. So again, we know about Keith Smith. He's central midfielder, tall, elegant, progressive passer. Market value around about 22 to 28 million euros, they reckon. 14 appearances, 2 goals, 2 assists in the Eredivisie, 6 appearances already in Europe. And he's had lots of minutes in the first team. He's a regular starter at 19 and a top development league. Linked with Real Madrid interest recently. Strong assist and XG profile for his age, 1.3 and 2.3 respectively. And obviously they've got a track record, AZ, of producing good midfielders. And if you look at him, he's a modern 8, if you like, press resistant, got a very long stride and very intelligent regarding positioning. He's going to come with a lot of baggage, though, unfortunately, because it's not just going to be Newcastle looking at him. He will attract a lot of attention. That's why AZ don't want to get rid of him in January. They know
Spurs are looking at him as well.
Yeah, like lots of big teams across Europe will look at him. If they can keep him in January and keep hold of him till the end of the year, they know his price is only going to go higher. So that's certainly one to look at. Kevin Danois, central attacking midfielder, tidy, technical, high work rate, market value around about 10, 15 million euros. 15 appearances, 1 goal, 1 assists. Average ratings aren't brilliant, 6.5 to 6.9. But he's not a wonder kid. So if anybody's expecting all of these players to be wonder kids, he's not one. He's solid but not explosive. Plays for developing sides, so numbers are suppressed. He's good ball retention now, and he's got good tactical discipline. He's a reliable system midfielder or systemic midfielder, more of a high floor than high ceiling. So he's got room to grow, that lad. So he's probably one of them lads that will come in and be a bench player, learn the game, and you'll see segments rather than more like Miley's development. I'm not sure whether that's where we need to be at the minute. Luciano Valente, attacking midfielder, number 8, tall, creative. He's dynamic type of player. 18 million euros, I reckon, the rough market value on transfer market. He's already made his Netherlands senior debut in 25. He's got 16 appearances in the Eredivisie, 1 goal, 3 assists. He's had 6 appearances in Europe with 2 assists, Champions League, 2 appearances as well. So his strengths are, his creative metrics are 3.9 in the Eredivisie for assists. Already played for 2 national teams at youth level, Italy and Netherlands. Feyenoord see him as a long-term starter. A tall technical creator, similar profile to the likes of Gravenberch, if you were to look at the Premier League, but more direct. Lamine Camara, he's the one for me, and I keep asking about potential just a number 6 type of role. He's the one for me that could potentially be the answer. to this. Energetic, aggressive, elite ball winner with creativity. Roughly marketed value is around about 30 million euros. Internationals, 23 caps for Senegal with 6 goals. His stats this year for League 1, 5 appearances, 3 assists. Champions League, 1 appearance. He's only had 604 minutes in League 1 and UCL. He's a genuine wonder kid, though, already a senior international star, named the best player at the Africa Under-20s National Cup. High defensive output and creative passing. It's a rare profile, that is. Monaco specialise in developing elite midfielders. He's a hybrid. He's a 6 and an 8. If you were to try and put 2 players together, Kamara and Kante, but a little bit more flair when they were that age. So, everybody rated N'Golo Kante. He was a cracking little player. And Boubacar Kamara, similar type of player. Again, if you were to amalgamate the two of them, that's the type of development where this kid is. And I think he will go on to be an absolutely superb player. Diane Matale is a Toulouse left-footed centre-back, tall, composed, strong in duels. He's valued around about 4 million euros, so nothing too expensive. He's had 15 appearances in League 1, no goals or assists. He's had over 1,000 minutes already. He's a rising talent rather than a wonder kid. Started regular at 19 in League 1, strong defensive metrics, 1.1 in build-up involvements as his XG. Toulouse have a reputation for data-driven recruitment. They rarely miss a talent. So, like I say, these guys work on a similar basis, like Brighton. So they work all on metrics, and this kid is really developing really well. Modern ball player centre-back with height and mobility. So there you go. So, like I say, some of them have been labelled as wonder kids. Some haven't. Like I say, there's some I'd probably keep well away from. But like you can understand where Ross Wilson's coming from, where we talk about age of the team and everything else. Is there anybody in those names that I've just mentioned? I know you guys probably don't look at the junior sides very often. I don't know whether you watch the Eredivisie at all. Some of these kids have done very well already. And like I say, Keith Smith, if you want to go more of attacking side of player, especially if the likes of Willock does go in January, then these are like for like type of players. Anybody want to add anything to that or ask a question about that before we move on?
Just a quick one from me on that. In regards to the them all players, none of them are if they're coming in to be first team squad players, that's a good thing. Firstly, because of their ages, but the second thing is as well, not one of them's from the Premier League. So does this mean Wilson's moving away from Premier League proven players that Howe seems to like? I actually did a check the day just for when I seen these players that we were linked with. Could anybody guess what percentage of players that we've brought in under Howe were Premier League tested already?
65.
Not have bought them.
I would have
I would
said
say
somewhere.
probably about 50-50.
I would have said about 65%.
What, from the Prem?
Not from the Prem, just Premier League tested. So there might not have been the people who've played in the Premier League already, basically. And they have to have been in the squad. They have to have been around the squad. They might not have played a lot of games, but they have to have been first team regulars in the squad. It's 78%. 78%. We're signed 18 players.
Well, I don't believe those stats.
We'll have a look. We're signed 18 players. We're signed 18 players that had Premier League experience, and we've signed 7 players that did not youth players or anything like that. They have to have been in the first team squad. So I haven't counted the likes of Harold Ashby or anybody like that. There's 18 Premier League.
Who are the 18 Premier League proven players that we've signed under Howe?
I'll get it up while you're going through, right. So I'm not boring everybody.
I mean, if you look at his first, you had Dan Burn and Nick Pope out of the first. Well, okay, so you're counting Trippier as
I'm counting Trippier, yeah.
But of course, we're saying him from Atletico.
We're saying, but as I stated as that have Premier League experience.
No, because I would have thought, apart from the young ones,
Chris Wood, Matt Target.
I completely forgot Chris would have played for a second there. I was going, I was like, oh yeah, that checks out. And then he said, I was like,
it's got to be quite high, hasn't it?
Nick Pope. Give us a second.
Bonds.
Gordon. Wissa.
Elanga.
Yep.
Wissa.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the last window, certainly.
Ruddy, Hall, Tino, the keeper I was signed that was at Liverpool that played for in the cup final. Can't find his name at the minute on the list. Yeah. You counted up winning. I promise you, I've went through it twice. We've signed 18 players that have a Premier League experience, and only 70 squad players that haven't had Premier League experience.
It's going to be interesting.
I would say if you look at the first team squad now, you know, you look at your Chows, your Botmans.
But that's not the point I'm trying. That's not the point.
Walter Mada's, Isaac who's been and gone.
I'm saying that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is Eddie Howe has been very focused on bringing in Premier League experienced players. If Wilson's coming in, we're now going to this system. I'm not saying Howe's been wrong. I'm just simply saying that it's quite a shock when you look at how focused we've been.
No, I think Wilson
Premier League experience.
Wilson has said that he wants to buy players with a high ceiling, who will invariably not be Premier League players.
Yeah,
no.
But
does that not contradict your preferred plan, which was my preferred plan, to instead spend big money on players who are going to come in and go straight into that first team and knock the first team player onto the bench?
You're not at that level yet.
No, and plus the fact is that we have went out and spent a lot of money on Premier League players. We went out and spent 55 million on Elanga. We went out and spent 45 million on Ramsey. They haven't played in the Premier. They haven't played forward.
But with the best will in the world, you aren't going to buy a player who walks straight into our first team for 55 million. You're just not.
But you should have with Elanga. That was the whole point.
Well, yeah, Elanga's been a dud. We all acknowledge. We all acknowledge that Elanga's been a dud
for seasons. We'd screamed out for seasons to get a new right winger. We knew we needed one. Eddie got the man he wanted there. So if we use,
he didn't. No, he didn't get the man he wanted. The man he wanted was Mbeumo.
He scouted him for 2 years.
But the man he wanted was Mbeumo.
But he scouted Elanga for 2 years. He got a guy that he really wanted and fancied. I'm not actually trying to get it. I've pushed up 7.
No, he's got to blow his nose, I think. Bless him.
I'm not getting it Eddie here. I'm not getting it Eddie here. But all I'm saying is, I was shocked that it was such a high percentage of Premier League players that we brought in.
Walter, thank you, mate. Unfortunately, I can't put your other one up there because obviously there's a word that we can't show on screen. So thank you for the 2 anyway. But I'm going to do this one. Stop picking on Christina or I'll be telling Santa, says Wazza. Thank you, matey.
Thank you,
thank you for the other one, even though I can't say it out loud, buddy. And then obviously Tony T has put this one on. Initiate Christina, jailer, enjoy yourself. Oh! Winston, can you sort that one out for us?
Yeah, well.
There you go. So you've got to bail, bless her. You've got to bail Christina if you want her out of jail. I think that's harsh, mate. I do. I really think it's harsh. I mean, you know, for me, I agree. Even though there's a lot of people say that he doesn't look at Premier proven, I think what he's trying to do is get a team that hits the ground running. And I think sometimes that can be a negative. And we all saw it. You're absolutely right, Bokeh. He's been looking at Elanga for some time. I mean, you've only got to look at the likes of Trafford as a keeper. I mean, how many seasons has he been looking to bring Trafford into us? You know, so he does have this black book that he had from 22. And we know that. And it seems as though he never tears the pages out once the opportunity has come and gone. He keeps going back to the same, again, tried and trusted black book for me. And I think since Ross Wilson's come in, what you've actually seen now is a number of players. Now, again, nothing's happened yet, so we can't count the chickens before they've hatched. But to me, it sounds as though now they're opening that door, that avenue up to go and have and spread the wings a bit further afield. Europe, we've also spoke and listened to a lot of people saying about the lads down in South America now. You know, we've got this new coach on board, new scout on board, who's going to go and have a look down there. You know, Queenie's in straight away. Thank you, Queenie.
Hang on. What was I saying? Stop picking on Christina, or I'll be telling Santa. But Queenie's straight into the rescue.
Yeah, Bailo Wallace. Not a festive
There's a
season.
player who did walk into the first team who we signed for less than 55 million, by the way.
Who hasn't, did you say?
There is a player who we have who's probably by the looks of it so far, the best signing this season.
Joe.
Malik Chow, how much should we pay for him?
35, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I said. He's been a snip. You don't. That's the whole point, isn't it? You don't have to go and spend £80 million to get a player through the door to get into the first team. You've just got to prove yourself. You know, and I think the opportunities come for him, and he's shone. He's shone every game for me.
100%. I think the worrying thing with the new transfer strategy is younger players from European teams who have got this wonder-kid label usually cost a lot more. And when they're not Premier League proven, you don't know whether they are actually going to turn out to be worth the investment. I do like the sound of the of Camera and the defender. I've never actually heard of a defender, I'm not going to lie. But left-sided centre-back and number 6, who is actually proven he has played a lot of games. Yeah. I like the sound of them, but the wonder kids, even, I've got his name, Smith. Even him, who's loads of people talk about him, but he could, end up being a bit of a dud himself, and it probably is going to be a big price tag to bring him in.
Yeah, you're right, but again, you've got to start looking at the philosophy of the Brighton model. Are we going to come on to Alfie Harrison in a minute, because there's a massive choice got to be made now for the likes of Newcastle's players that are turning 2021. The likes of Alfie Harrison's coming into the last 6 months of his contract. He cost us £3 million, expected to be a rising star. And as of yet, I've yet to see it, and I'm not saying, again, change of formation in the academy, because they've gone to a 4-2-3-1 now. So you can only get 2 midfielders in there. So where do you play the likes of Alfie Harrison? Somebody has to drop out. So Alfie Harrison has been, on the right side. He's been on the bench. He's been in the middle. He's not had a fluent system. But again, I don't think that's Alfie Harrison's fault. I think he's been one of these players that likes to play a little bit further in the 8 zone. And if you're not playing that, at the minute, Sean Neve is playing as a 10, not playing as an out-and-out striker. And that's something else that I can't understand, because usually if you're fledging kids in the academy into a system that your first team operates in a different system, how can you move them forward from the academy into a first team situation when they're not playing the same system? It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me, that one. So, like I say, usually what you get is the under-21s amalgamated to the same system as the first team, and then there should be no real problem integrating them through. And I think that's probably been one of Eddie's headaches. Or is it the fact that now we will move that way? And now he's got kids coming through the ranks that are already set up in that motion. So there's a lot still to iron out for me on that one.
Maybe that's been the master plan all along.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know.
That might be the plan.
Yeah, absolutely. The other one that you were talking about then is the Toulouse defender, Matali. He's a 19-year-old kid. He's a good lad. And like I say, Toulouse do have an ability to have, like I say, the metrics behind them. Very Brighton type of style, the way they get their kids in. And he hits all the metrics as a left-footed defender. So, like I say, it's going to be interesting to see where they go. He does go on, though, to say, however, the club spent more than 250 million in the summer, and supporters should not expect significant outlay in the new year. This is a desire to move for talent that can bolster the squad and emerge as first-team regulars in time, but only if the deal is right. Sporting Director Ross Wilson and the recruitment team are now working around the clock to make sure the club are best prepared for when the window opens in January the 1st. So again, it sounds to me more like they're going to the Brighton model, where they bring these young'uns in. If they don't get into the first team, they come with a price ceiling. So, if you can get them in at the right price, you can still make money on them going forward. And again, we go to the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City, who made 90 million from not selling a single first teamer last season. So again, you start thinking about where Newcastle need to be to close that gap, to continue the business model, if you like. I think that's where we need to be. The large size of the squad is also consideration of outgoings is being explored. Jamal Lascelles, we're talking about what's happened to Jamal. He's likely to leave in search of regular football. Before the recent spate of defensive injuries, Kieran Trippier was another one who could have moved on. This is less certain now, but remains still a possibility. Joe Willock would only be allowed to leave where there's serious offer as opposed to a loan, but there is a lot of interest around him. And then it goes on to say about Fabian Schär. Meanwhile, there had been a suggestion among some of the outside that Fabian Schär could move on in the new year if he is still out of the team. I'm told that will not be happening, and especially given as he is now only one of 2 fit defenders. It seems, there's talk that Lewis Hall will be back for the Chelsea game the weekend. And the hamstring strain was a minor. It was just something that he felt, a twinge on, nothing too dramatic on that.
Well, Chris and I had a discussion about that this morning because I thought the reason he hadn't played yesterday was flu, but Chris was adamant
that was the rumours
that it was a hamstring.
Yeah, it was. It had come out during, just before the match, because everybody's saying what's happening to Lewis Hall, and it was Lewis Hall was out, not due to illness, but because of a slight hamstring strain. Have you guys got anything to talk about regarding the Kieran Trippier, Joe Willocks, Fabian Schär? For me...
Well, we can't afford to let Fabian Schär go, that's for certain.
Definitely not.
Not now. No, exactly. And I think, there's still... we'll get on to the likes of Botman and the rest, but while we're talking about potential leavers, obviously, I still think the Tino Livramento thing... isn't going to go quiet. It's certainly the rumour again. I'm only talking about a rumour. The rumour out there is still that his father is interested in to look at the offer potentially coming in from Man City in the January window. Whether Newcastle accept it, I don't know, but he does favour that, according to the rumours. And again, you've got the looks of who else was I going to say there? Botman. Obviously, Botman wasn't happy with negotiating a new contract because he wanted more guaranteed minutes before the contract negotiations would start. With the interest of Liverpool and the way their defensive units have been lining up recently, not being very good at the back, is it an opening to keep hold of him? So, like I say, I'll come to you first then, Win. What's your thoughts then on
Irish Assassin is saying, can we do a quick wellness check on Tim and Bogey? Because they've said nothing for 20 minutes.
They haven't moved or breathed.
They haven't moved or breathed for about 20 minutes.
Yeah,
that's because when Gary gets off on one, there's no stopping him.
Yeah, you should just say, "Oi, I'm here." Go on then. Tell me what your thoughts on the potential outgoings, incomings, and everything else.
Well, I think it's interesting you mentioned the players there, Gary. That one of them was a number 6, so that kind of caught my attention, and that we're kind of crying out for that sort of midfielder. Whether or not he would play that way for us under Eddie Howe was another thing, but I haven't seen the players you've mentioned there, Gary, so I can't really comment. But it would be nice if we are looking at a player who can do that job and just has more defensive capabilities, let's say, than the current midfielders to help sweep up those situations. That would be interesting. Again, whether or not they'd come straight into the team, when you look at the likes of Ramsey this season, who was signed for 40-odd million from a Premier League side, but still doesn't come straight in. You know, that's another question. I mean, in terms of outgoings, like you say, Win, like we can't afford to let Shea go, and I'd like to think he would see the season out. I'd like him to stay until the summer, and you know, golden handshake and all that, because he's been a brilliant servant for us. So I'd like to see that happen. You know, left back, yes, we do need to sign a left back. I think because it's obviously injuries, but also the fact that Target's away on loan, and yeah, you got Dan Burn to cover and TINO, but it's not ideal. You want to have kind of one left footer, I think, for left back, or two left footers for left back. But I mean, on TINO, I think I'll just say one thing. It's a slightly different topic, but if he's injured and that's affecting our left back situation, obviously in right back situation, I think that it does come back to the fact that, in my opinion, you know, he has been overplayed potentially since he's came back from injury. And I know there's been nobody else, you know, on paper, but I said it last night, you know, could you not have played a youngster? Could you not have played Shahar just to give TINO a break for one of these games in the last month or so, because he was out for a long time, and then all of a sudden he's playing every 3 days or something. And now he's got this. I'm not saying that's the direct result, but I don't think it would help playing all those games. But yeah, that's what I would say. And just to come back to it, Gary, that number 6 that you mentioned, have you seen him play? What do you think?
Yeah, Kamara at Toulouse. He's a hybrid, mate. He's if you was to look at the likes of Tonali, you know, the way Tonali plays the 6 role, it's not a standard 6. He's not a Rodri, the one who will just sit in that hole and compete, if you like, with the back 4. He's more mobile. He's very good. Like I say, he's got that Kante about him. You know, he's very mobile. He's very physical. I think he's just got a really good high ceiling. And like I say, his ball retention is good as well. So, you know, you get that physicality, not to that degree with J7, but you get that about him as well. And like I say, you know, Ligue 1, I mean, I've just been having a quick look while you were talking there, because like I say, just having a look at his metrics. And when you look at it, his average rating is 7.47, you know. That's just literally from 606 minutes after 9 matches, starting 7 of them. So like I say, the lads, you know, when you've played 30 times for Senegal at his age, that's a difficult national team to be in, because, you know, we all saw Senegal play England. And they took us to task. I mean, you know, they've played and beat Paris Saint-Germain this year 1-0. His profile was 8.2 for that match against Paris Saint-Germain. Against Marseille, you know, 7.2. 2 teams, one we've lost to, the other team we've got to face yet. And he's come through those 2 games head and shoulders, you know. So, like I say, he's got some good metrics. He's got some good ratings behind him. He's not a player, like I say, that, you know, he's not going to be that massive, big, singing, all dancing type of player, because I still think he's got to learn a lot of the game yet. You know, he stands at about 173, so he's not a tall player. He's about he's about 5'8", 5'9". So again, that's why I said he's very much like the Kante role when you look at him. But he's mobile, and like I say, he can play in between those 2 areas, defensive midfield and centre midfield. And like I say, I think at the minute he's somewhere in the region of 90% chance creation when you look at his metrics. So for me, he's one of those players that would walk and be comfortable at Newcastle, because we play with 2 players very similar to that, with the likes of Bruno and Tonali. So he would fit that mould really comfortably. Does that free up Miley then? Because I mean, obviously Eddie Howe seems to think that we don't get anybody in unless the price is right for Willock, and we can't refuse it. But we also need a like for like.
Well, what would you say is the right price for Willock?
Well, I'd say no. If we could get anywhere near our money back,
exactly. If I could get 15 million for Willock, I would take it.
Yeah.
How much?
Willock, 50 million.
15.
15.
Right.
15, I was going to say.
I thought you said 50 as well. I was thinking that's
What-
it,
what-
optimistic.
15.
What did we pay for
I
him?
get
Was it
15.
20,
We've
22
had
million,
5 years. We paid 25. We've had 5 years out of
25.
him.
I think what you have to remember with Willock is he's only 26, so he will be a good player for another club. In regards to
Do you think so? If I thought he was going to be a good
No,
player
not-
for
not-
another club, I wouldn't.
not for a top of the league club. When I'm talking mid to lower Premier League, he's never going to be an elite player in regards to being, we're getting higher up the league now. Hopefully, if things improve, and he's never going to be at that level. But he is at a level where he can play mid-table, like he did for us, mid-table. As I say, bottom of the Premier League, where he'll be a bigger fish, but in a littler pond. I think the problem is for him now, he's got into a situation where he's a little fish in a big pond of players, if you like. In regards to the back four,
Was I saying thank you for your £2, was I suffer from ball retention. It's murder.
I think now looking at the back four, what we have to do, and what obviously it looks like with this, if this information Craig Hope is right, it looks like he's trying to massively lower the age of the squad, which is something that you've got to applaud him for and say is the right thing to do. What'll be interesting is if he'll be the one that says to Eddie, "No, you're not keeping the likes of Trippier. No, this is sort of Kraft's last season, and maybe he's even one of Burn or Shaw. He says this is their last season at the club. Whether he won't let Eddie put the older players onto onto another year contract and another year contract, which Eddie does like to do.
Yeah, Steve Waldo there. I said about 20 million. I think you'll snap the hands off for that. Another one here. Look, Foxy Lamine been injured this season, recently returned. Lamine being a star since the last AFCON. There you go. So, like I say, he's got a hell of a high ceiling. This Kamara. So
would you get him? David Vitch is saying, Kamara would be brilliant if
tomorrow.
It's true. We want him.
Yeah, that's what I said. That when we look at our boys, and that's what I said. I mean, you have a word with Foxy. Have a look at our Ferreira. I think he's Portuguese parentage. Kid's little, got low centre gravity. Scored a hat trick the other week. Quality player. You can just see when a player graces the ball the way they do at that age. I mean, I think he's only just turned 16, but you can see his levels above from what we've got already in the academy. But it's how you nurture them. And, what people always forget when you talk about individuals, kids are different beasts to adults. You've got to get the mentality right. You've got to get the drive. You've got to get the want. And sometimes girls, beer, mates that aren't involved in football can sometimes turn your eye to, the other side, if you like. It's a hard road in the academy game these days for kids because, like I say, as Wynn's mentioned more than once, it's a cash cow these days. Professional clubs don't look at kids in the academy to be part of the first team. They look at money. Can we make money from these kids that are playing for us at the minute? And we're going to go on to the likes of Alfie Harrison next. I think it's coming up in the next bit.
It's all your fault, Christina, coming round with your beer and being a woman.
I'm not
Turning these young players' heads.
Let him turn off, ruin football.
I mean,
we've got Joey Barton coming on tomorrow.
Wait.
I'm not a person, but I would chin him. Just put that out there. If anybody wants to sponsor one of those like YouTuber boxing things, me versus Joey Barton all day long.
Listen. If Joey Barton was on tomorrow, even I'd wear a skirt. I'd love that. Let's go on to the target business because obviously there's a lot of people now talking about the target being recalled in January. And according to it, and this is something I've been questioning about, our loan deals. Apparently there is a recall clause as part of the loan deal to Middlesbrough. So Eddie Howe could explore the option if he wants to. But Craig Hope seems to think it's more likely they will not go with that deal and he will remain on Teesside. That situation, though, could change if we move through January and the process for being like Newcastle, hopeful of having the likes of Sven Botman, Trippier, and Emil Kraft back and available in the new year. So obviously depends now on that exploration, if you like, if the lads that are injured at the moment, currently injured, remain injured going into January. So, like I say, that's not a closed door, but I think it's more in the club and the player to stay where he is. Because I don't think Matt Targett is any different to Alex Murphy from what I've seen, how comfortable Alex Murphy is. Different type of player, but obviously Alex Murphy's more of a defence-minded player. You saw that, but again, it allowed Morley to go and push on and create what he did going forward on that right-hand side.
When he came on yesterday. He
He looked
didn't put a
comfortable,
foot
didn't he?
Yeah,
Aye.
every pass he made was perfect. It didn't look out of place at all. And I know it was like the last few minutes of a game that we, against a weakened Fulham side, if you want to say that. But I think he looked all right. I wouldn't have anything against him playing further in the Premier League.
Just a quick one on Target. Obviously, if we recall him in January, he's still out of contract at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Quick maths, he's on 120 grand a week. They're paying half his wage at the minute. So you're probably talking about £1.5 million to bring him back. If we're still in the situation we are now, where we're still struggling defence-wise, surely enough for £1.5 million, you would recall him just to have him in the squad.
Target's only on 100 a week.
Well, he's not even on that.
So about 100. So about what? In which case, what you're talking £1 million to bring him back? Surely enough, if you're struggling with defenders, it's a no-brainer. You bring him back for £1 million.
Yeah, I've been digging in, and I've actually paid now to get more information on the likes of Target and how much he's on. I ain't going to go through it yet because I've got so many different things open, and I don't want my computer to crash. But he's not even on 100 grand a week. It's somewhere around about the 60 grand mark, and that's confirmed.
That's a bargain. Bring him back.
No, that's maybe what we are paying for him now, with Middlesbrough paying the other 40.
Well, all I'm saying is that is what I can see confirmed 60,000. And you might be right. There may be a 40 grand, handshake going on the other side from Borough. But again, it's still a lot of outlay for somebody else, for us to pay for somebody else to get the pleasure of, isn't it? So I said, the lad needs to go. Stand up if you wear a skirt.
Stand up if you wear a skirt. Stand up if you wear a skirt.
Love it.
And they were saying, Target, come on, man. Who's next? Dummett, Wilson?
Dummett's retired.
Just to have cover it for the rest of this season, as I say, surely enough, if we go into the transfer window in the situation we're in now, it's an absolute no-brainer.
Yeah, I agree.
What, to bring Target back, you mean?
Bring Target back, yeah. It's going to, by the sounds of what
you're saying. Well, put it this way, but between now and January, the games we've got between now and January is an ideal opportunity for to see whether Murphy can step up at left back. As you say, he did okay last night, but he is very clearly, defence-minded. He does not venture over the halfway line kind of thing.
We do have a lot of attack-minded defenders, though, so maybe one defensive-minded, because as I say, last night, if you watched, Shaw was getting quite forward and quite out wide on the left as well, so maybe if, Botman... Yeah, Shaw as well, so maybe if we had like a Botman, who, by the way, him saying that he wants guaranteed minutes, surely if he's fit, he is the guaranteed left-sided centre-back. But if we've got other players at the back who are going to be pushing forward, maybe a defensive-minded left back wouldn't be a bad thing. I think when Dan Burn was playing left back a couple of years ago, when he was actually good at it, he was much more defensive than Trippier was being on the right. And although it sounds unbalanced on paper, I think in the actual games it kind of worked for us. So I would definitely be okay with giving Alex Murphy a try.
Yeah, I mean, for me, what do you get differently from the likes of Matt Target that you wouldn't get from Alex Murphy? And I'm struggling to put a spec on that. And the other thing is, if he does come back, obviously he then would move potentially for a free in the summer, because Newcastle will not extend the contract for Target, because I don't think they see him part of the future anyway. And if there's an agreement with Middlesbrough, which I haven't read, I don't know if there's anything in the blueprint regarding a potential, like a buy-on clause after it, or they have first option. And to be fair, he's done well at the Borough. You know, I can see the Teessiders being up in the Premier League if they carry on going the way they're going. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see all of us up there.
I'm not seeing
Matt Target was on 120k a week from 22 to 24, but maybe there was a clause in his contract regarding first team football or something like that, but his salary significantly decreased to approximately 60k a week.
There you go.
But I'm not seeing bring Target back as a long-term solution. I'm seeing that
just to cover,
till the end of the season. And as you see, he's on a free, so it's not the only thing it's going to cost was his wage.
Yeah.
I think there is an argument that I think somebody said there, like, we might as well have had him this season with the injuries. And like, I know it's kind of a hindsight, but I think maybe there is an argument that he could have been kept just to be that backup to Lewis Hall while we're looking for somebody, because Lewis Hall's had his fitness issues, and then obviously lo and behold, Lewis Hall's been injured, and we're playing Dan Burn left back. So I think the balance could have been better. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, Matt Target, but just as for now, this season stopgap, maybe it could have been wise just to keep him.
I just think you again, we've got to stop being a team that gives players away. And again, I don't know whether there has been some type of conversation between Borough and Newcastle regarding future purchase. But I think sometimes you've got to say to yourself, what is the point in bringing a lad back if you are going to scupper your chances of selling him? Because we have got to stop giving players away. And Target is never going to take Newcastle forward. He's never going to be a player that fills. He's going to be like Kraft. If we keep hold of Target, he's going to be another Kraft.
Hang on. Is Target not on a free from the summer?
Yeah.
So that's what I said. So we're not going to get anything for him anyway.
No, but what they are reclaiming is his wages, or part of his wages, with the loan agreement. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. You stop that, and you're not getting any money for him at all. He's a free agent anyway come the summer, unless there's been something in January. You know what I mean?
You could make that money up though, couldn't you, if you kind of get a few places up? Obviously, it's all hypothetical and stuff, but.
But £1 million here or there in the Premier League now, isn't it? It's not even going to be £1 million by the sound of it. It's going to be a hell of a lot less.
Yeah, so you're right. It's change. It is change.
Yeah.
But like I say, for me, I think Foxy's saying he'll want to stay at the Borough. He doesn't want to come back to Newcastle and sit on the bench. But that's not the option. I mean, again, it is hindsight, because we all questioned. We've always been a bit light on that left-hand side regarding defenders anyway, unless you obviously utilise the likes of Dan Burn in there. And as much as he hasn't done a bad job previously, we know, unfortunately, the game does pass you by when the years clock. So you've got to be careful that we're just not putting players in there just for namesake and positional. We've seen it on the right back situation now. And again, we got out of jail to a degree yesterday. And I thought, he was going to be tested a lot more mightily at right back with Kevin and Robinson on that left-hand side. So I thought, like I say, for me, it was a chance well done. And you've got to give Eddie Howe, credit, because according to the reports, and now Boki said yesterday, he'd been training as a right back for most of this week, with I suppose whatever time they've had playing in right back. But according to Craig Hope, he only knew on the morning of the game, yesterday morning, that he was playing there.
If you notice, Gary, I put that in the chat before the team was even announced. He was going to be playing at right back. It'd been the rumour all week. He'd been training there, so I think my sources are better than Craig Hope's on this one.
Love it. Obviously, Tino Livramento has avoided a season knee injury. It's just he's hobbled off. Apparently, there's no ligament issues. He was well iced, and he seems as though he will be out for a couple of games. According to this, it's not good news. Is that season, Livramento season, is not over, as would be in the case if he'd suffered a serious ligament injury. His loss, however, is still another big defensive blow for Eddie Howe. So, like I say, he's going to be out for a couple of games, probably to the new year.
At the end.
Yeah, he was heavily strapped right at the end with an ice pack. What was that? Sorry.
Why make him walk on it when he's clearly got a damaged leg? Like, surely don't be like, okay, go for a walk around the 100-yard pitch. Like, that's not good medical decision.
No, well, again, when you've done all the tests, and again, the scans are the ones that prove, what the issue was. And the way he was pointing was more the inside of his knee, which is the medial side of your kneecap. So, again, the medial ligament, and that's what was Wissa was out a period of time for. But when you do the test, I mean, like I say, I suffer with medial ligament issues, and I've said on more than one occasion, my knee feels like a spoon in a bowl of porridge when I'm walking on it. It can't be that bad if they've allowed him to do that. That's what I'm saying. The icing is obviously to try and reduce the swelling. So today he would have been and had scans on that damaged knee, and obviously them scans have come back. He's obviously got some bruising around that area, but it doesn't seem as though there's any minor tears to the ligament. It just seems as though it was a bruise, and that's all it is. So again, we're just gonna have to see how it goes. But we've heard this so many times, haven't we? When it comes to players getting these knocks, and I said I made a bit of a witty comment yesterday, and Connor put it in the chat, saying that he must be okay because they've took him off. Because usually when they're injured, they usually keep them on the field for a bit longer, don't they? So it was a strange one. Talking about Usula, he's had a protective boot on his ankle injury. That was removed this week apparently, and should be available by the second week of January. That's obviously if he's still with us. The striker has not featured since November the 2nd. And promised during the early months of the season. His absence will extend to more than 2 months by the time that runs out. So, like I say, I don't know whether he won't be at Eintracht Frankfurt come the January window, but it certainly looks that way.
Just a quick.
Is he going to bring anything regarding us? Sorry, mate, go on.
Just a quick point Smig Tim picked up on earlier on about players coming back when they're not fully fit, and we're putting injured players on the bench and things. Are we putting some of these younger players' long-term careers at risk by the amount of times that we're bringing them back too quickly from injury? Should we be letting them recover completely? Because, I mean, TINO and Hall, for examples, this season have been out for long periods, but as soon as they've got back, they went straight back into the team. Wissa's done the same. He's gone. They haven't reintroduced him slowly, and I understand the reasons behind that, and I know the points, but you can't put players' careers at risk because you're struggling with injuries in the team. You've got to then start using the youth players. So are we potentially putting some of these players' long-term careers at risk?
Well, that question there, sorry, just quickly, Boggy, is again something I'd like the journalists to ask Eddie Howe to say that when he says, "Oh well, Jacob Murphy's carrying a knock," I'd say, well, okay. Why is he still playing? What's the situation there? To be fair with Wissa, I think he has played a practice game behind the scenes, or practice games behind the scenes before he came back, and only had sort of 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there before playing a full 90. So maybe there's been a bit more caution with him, but definitely with TINO, and obviously Murphy has confirmed that he's playing with an injury, and TINO was put straight back in. I'm not sure how many practice games he played, but like I say, it's like 4 or 5 games every 3 days. Like, I don't care if you say there's nobody else. Well, there is somebody else. You've got Shahar there. So and we're talking about Matt Target. He could have helped out in terms of TINO not having to go to left back. And it is a bugbear when I go back to the season we finished 7th that I had at the time, and it kind of subsided last season. I don't know if Bunce had anything to do with that or not, but now this season it is happening here and there. And I agree, Borky, like And Osula, like you say, is another one where apparently he came on, he made an impact. That's great. But he made an impact while he had the injury, and lo and behold, after the game, it's got worse, and now he's been out for the last month or so. And I think just, like I say, you just put your foot down and you take the hits as the manager.
What's really worrying, though, is it not? What's really worrying is that two seasons ago, the excess injuries were fairly and squarely laid upon the doorstep of the way we played. High press, high intensity, 90 minutes, go, and that was levelled as the reason why we were getting so many injuries. Last season and this season so far, we haven't done that. And yet we're still we're still getting the same number of injuries.
But when the point is, for me anyway, it's not that the injuries themselves, because that happens. You're not going to avoid that, are you? You're going to get injuries throughout the season. So the injuries we had, I don't think have necessarily been anything crazy. But it's the fact that when those players are injured, we're not then allowing them the full time to be 100% fit until they come back into the side, and preventing knock-on injuries to that same player going forward. I think that's my issue with some players, it seems.
I think, you the way I look at it now is players are going to be sought after in certain positions. And the problem is now, as we've already seen, and you heard from the backlash against the Mackhams, when the coach is under pressure, there's lots to look at, and when you haven't got the wealth of a squad that's got depth in players in every area, then your hands are tied to a degree. But you're still reliant on the medical team to come back with the advice that they are fit and ready to go. And as we've seen, we've all been questioning when Wissa will be ready. He's been ready for a couple of weeks, but they wanted him to have a couple of behind-the-scenes games with that full impact on that knee to make sure that there's nothing going to come back of it. And the problem is, I understand the sentiment from Boki and yourself, Tim, there, but when you're younger, you do recover quicker. So you've got more chance of, listen, when you've had a repair.
Surely it's up to the players themselves as well, though, for to say, hang on, Gaffer, I'm not fit.
Well, it's not, is it? Because we've already heard about the Owen saga back in the days. Owen said to Shearer, I'm not fit to play, but if you want me to play, I'll play. But I'm not going to be 100%. And that's what happens. When you're desperate, managers will risk you. But I still think there should be a lot of background checks, making sure that the knee doesn't come out of line when you're doing your movement checks. There is no pain. And we all heard, again, the Longstaff last season having multiple injections in an ankle injury that was consistent throughout the season, for him just to sit on the bench most of it. So, these guys do all the checks, but they're still also under the spotlight to get the right players out if they are ready to go. I am sick of hearing players say that they're only 80% fit, or he's on the bench, but he's suffering with a groin injury. Why have him on the bench? Because if he's suffering with a groin injury, being on the bench tonight ain't going to get you anything different. He could go out there and slip, and that's literally all. If you looked at TINO Livramento, it was only losing his balance, losing his footing because of the surface water that created that problem with his knee. It wasn't a collision or anything like that. So, like I said, listen, you can break your leg going down the stairs. You know what I mean? You can only protect these players for so long with so much, but their job is to play football. And if they've ticked all the boxes medically, and all the therapists have said he's good to go, and he's done the hard yards on grass, there's nothing stopping them. But that's the nature of the job with this one, with football.
Irish is saying if I was in charge with these players, they wouldn't be wearing those tiny, stupid shin pads. In my day, proper shin pads saved me from injuries galore.
I totally agree.
If you saw that that panty pad that Bruno that J7 pulled out.
That panty liner.
That's literally what it was, wasn't it? Unless it was made of Kevlar or something. But
it's a bit like cutting of the socks as well. That gets on my nerves. Why the hell do they cut the socks?
How the hell that's supposed to save you from anything?
The socks aren't even real socks anymore. I was like, what on earth? How's he pulling half his sock up on the shin?
Yeah. Because they cut the bottoms off. So instead of wearing two pairs of socks, they have the one in the boot and then the other one that matches the colours of the outfit on the outside. It gets me when they start cutting the back of the calf open, so you can see all these big holes in the back of the calf.
Muscle thing, isn't it? But thing is, for me, like as a player, if you're going out there with a supposed shin pad that size, like to me that is irresponsible. I know it's a trend these days, and players just follow the trend, and they deem it's fine to wear that. But really, I think it is ridiculous that you're going out with something like that on, and you haven't got the protection. And you're putting yourself at risk, and you're putting the team at risk, the club at risk for injuries.
Okay.
Yeah, because what does it even protect? Like one part in the middle of your leg's going to be okay, but the rest of the shin bone, your knee, and the rest of your calf is completely vulnerable. Like, what's the point? Just leave it in the dressing room.
Well, you say it's protected.
As we mentioned before, just a quick question to Christina. What were your feelings on Longstaff? Were you a fan or?
This is going to sound weird coming from me, but I wasn't actually ever a massive fan of Longstaff. But at the same time, like, I am aware that statistically we seemed to perform better when he was in the side. And he definitely put in the shift. Like, I don't hate on him because he really did put the effort in. But I never got how we seemed to play better with him. But watching him play used to really frustrate me, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I
think that sums everybody up about Longstaff.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of things that I wanted to mention just briefly. Obviously, I don't know whether you guys knew that the Fulham team bus crashed outside St James's Park last night after dropping the players off. And it's
in a stationary van.
It's a stationary van trying to come out via the Strawberry Place. So
those famous insurance claims. I was driving along when I was hit by a stationary car coming in the other direction.
That's right, yeah.
When I first read the story, I thought it had said I had hit a stationary fan, and I thought Dan Burn wasn't playing.
Oh dear. Another interesting, a little bit of humour, nothing major. There was when they were playing Leverkusen last week after the game, Geordie fans travelling to Dusseldorf and Cologne waited for their trains on opposite platforms. A rivalry ensued with chants, "Who are you?" being sent back and forth across the track. However, the Cologne contingent had the last laugh when their train arrived first, and the Dusseldorf service failed to show, meaning fans had to compete for taxis in the 20-mile journey back to their hotels. So that must have been fun. I haven't seen any pictures of that because I would imagine somebody's got something out there. I'm sure we'll get something. There's been a bit of a cash injection, 45 million cash injection from the Saudis towards the club, making it north of 800 million investing up to yet from the PIF. So I suppose they are still behind the club. It's landed in the club accounts ahead of the January transfer window. The sum is thought to cover all running costs, with work continuing on the training ground improvements. There is also talk of academy upgrades. It means that since the 305 takeover in 21, a further 500 million has now been invested by the owners in the way of cash injections. The current ownership split sees PIF with 85% and the Rubens with 15%. When I asked CEO Hopkinson this month, PIF were still committed to Newcastle, given their ever-expanding sporting portfolio, he said, "I truly believe in my heart of hearts that we are their favourite investment. I think we take up so much of their shared mind and heart, way more than would be warranted given the size of the investment." So there you go. So they're still well behind us. The Sunderland fans apparently have sent Nick Walter Mada a Christmas card addressed to the German striker at the club's Darsley Park training ground. The Sunderland fanzine I Love Supreme was arranged for the delivery in which to thank him for the own goal that settled the Sunday tiring and weird derby.
But it's going to be the best goal they score all season, to be fair as well.
Yeah. Well, like I say, there's Wynn accused him of missing a similar one for us, didn't you, Wynn? Not so long back. An interesting one. So yeah, apparently I asked.
I was told wasn't a gimme.
Well, when I looked at that one, it was a bit behind him. If he was in front of the post where he was for Sunderland, there was an opportunity of that going exactly in the same place it was last weekend. But because he was at the back stick, he was never going to get the right direction on that ball. But like I say, he's getting a local hero anyway from us.
Can't wait till he.
Talking about local hero. Local hero. It's now back to our coming out music.
The pre-match playlist, exactly. I was just going to say that.
Exactly, it's back to where a lot of people want. I was quite happy with Blading Races, but
I prefer Local Hero.
Yeah.
I think
Local Hero has become synonymous.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I think the Blading Races.
The only thing is, you can't sing along to Local Hero, whereas you can sing along to Blading Races.
Yeah, but only if you know the words. There's so many people that don't know the words, Win. And like I say, I still think Hey Jude should be gone for me. I don't think that has any resemblance to the club whatsoever. It resembles far too many for me.
It's banned from Liverpool as well, which I think we should have sent that back to Liverpool with Isaac.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I just call him Isaac. Like, what am I doing?
Why did the leadership team as well pick the music for the players to come out with too? That's the one I never get. Like, I cannot understand what it's got to do with the leadership team of the players, what music the team run out to. Should be up to the fans. If anything, you should give the fans
personal preference, isn't it?
I think that's something. Anyway, why would Bruno Guimaraes be like, oh yeah, play that Geordie song from years ago that I was never in this country to ever hear in the first place, and I've only vaguely heard while hearing the Toon Army song from the fans when I was scoring goals.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know whether you guys had seen Dominic Skur was asking about Johan Wissa, and he asked him about wearing the shirt and everything else, and he said it was a massive smile to actually come on at St James's Park wearing the Toon colours. And when he asked what player are you most happy to play alongside at Newcastle, do you know the player he mentioned?
We're talking about here, Bruno.
Wissa. Wissa was asked by one of the journals about what player are you most happy to try and play next to?
Jacob Murphy.
Elanga.
Keep going.
Murphy's a good shot.
Walter Mada.
Right. All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah, Walter Mada was his answer. He wants
That's
to play.
Gotta be
Can't wait to play. Yeah.
Two of them are going to play.
Holidays are coming. Holidays are coming. Holidays are coming. Walter Mada's coming. Walter Mada and Wissa's coming.
Well, I'd say there'll be a lot of exciting players and a lot of exciting things to come if that's happening. There's
We've got Simon Santa in the building. Hello, Simon.
Simon Santa.
It's perfectly placed there as well, isn't he? Even
So
how we did.
Like,
Simon Santa, yeah. Simon says.
Right in front of him.
Right, yeah, it's conveniently placed over the badge there. I should just.
It is, yeah.
Christina, you might be happy if you can't see the screen because you want to see what's above your head.
Yeah. Don't open your mouth and put your tongue out, for God's sake. That's a different channel altogether. Oh, we've lost that. And that's got nothing to do with Fabian Scher, you know that. They don't belong to him.
Somebody moving a little bit.
Oh, it's Tim. Here we go.
Can I just
How's it going,
also...
lads?
Oh, jail for Chris.
No, I've been late. I deserve to be in jail.
No, that's Chris. No, it's obviously Christina. She said the name we don't say.
Who?
Isaac.
I said Isaac.
Isaac all the time, man. Only insecure people whinge about Isaac.
Can I quickly apologise that I was sitting too far back at the start of the show and apparently people couldn't actually hear me. So I do apologise for that. I did try to shuffle forward without anybody noticing halfway through the show, but I'm sorry that I was so quiet at the start.
We could hear you.
Fine, no worries.
We could hear you.
It was
We
good.
can hear you.
I think it's because it echoes a little bit because you obviously, bless her, she's still waiting for a laptop to be fixed.
I'm still waiting.
So she's all the sound
We'll get
gets
her
picked
sorted.
up from the phone. We'll get her
We'll get her
sorted.
sorted.
Simon, you're far too educated for this lot, mate.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm sure the next hour or so we'll find out. I think. Yeah.
We shall find out.
Proves that we're wangers.
Was I used to be my friend? Happened?
Lord have mercy. What was that, Christina?
I said, was I used to be my friend? What happened? You probably tried to put us
yeah,
straight.
well, was it?
Come on, he's saying that I'm not intelligent.
He's the reason why you got on the show.
He is actually.
He's the reason you got on the show. That's right.
Yes.
Anyways, lads, it's been a lovely early show. Now we go into the late night show with the panel, of course, and yeah, we got to continue the conversation. Chelsea game on the weekend. News. We get the takes on Livermento's injury. That's a big topic, isn't it? I mean, can't stay healthy, man. Can't stay healthy. But win thanks. We're gonna win 10 in a row. There you go. So
the best ability is availability.
Yeah. There you go. And now I'll explain this. Just the Jordy one says only insecure people wonder about Isak. What? WTF? Yeah. But you got to recognize he's a rat and he should be gone. But he still was not probably, the best striker we've had in the last 25 years, aside the last years of Alan Shearer. So it is what it is. He wanted gone, he's gone. So I don't want him back. But
I like Toby Martins.
You can't forget about him being, important for us to win a championship or to win a trophy. But we'll get into that, folks. Don't forget. Thank you very much, all of you. The early lot, Tim. Well done. By the way, I was telling your brother yesterday. Isn't it crazy to see your dad's picture on national TV? That was amazing, wasn't it?
Oh,
that was good.
quality,
Good
man.
stuff.
Quality, I mean,
quality, man. That's right. And of course,
have
Gary
you got a
hosted the
print?
show. Appreciate it. A what?
I got a print.
We should get prints, man. We should have them all here.
Oh, we should get. Yeah, that's true.
I'll start charging, man.
Hey, you still got a lot in the
royalties.
Royalties, baby, royalties.
I need to start charging.
The late night.
Use my voice.
I know.
What is it? Image rights.
I mean, that was shambolic.
Shambolic.
There you go, baby. It's all right here in front of us, man. It's all here in front of us. Anyways, folks, the late night show starts now. Don't go anywhere.
Set up for maximum confrontation and super opinionated debates. The NUFC Late Night Show with Chris the American Man, Derek Demadiwan, Rory Caviani, and the rest of the panel, Monday through Thursday from 9:30 p.m. UK and UFC Talk Radio, the voice of the Toon Army.
All right, ladies and gents, the late night show here with me, Win, Boki, and Simon making his ultimate late night debut. Yeah, that's true. It would be your debut. So there you go, mate. Welcome. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, become a member if you can, help the channel grow and get to the masses. You owe me a jail time, says Irish Assassin. To who? Who's supposed to be jailed?
You.
Me? Oh, because I'm late? Okay, yeah.
No, it was Chris. It was Chris. Well, no, I did put Christine and Nick for you. It was a different Chris. It was Chris for...
I will. Somebody bail me out. I will go to jail. I will go to jail because I was late. And I've been late a lot this week or so, which is not my... I'm not proud of that, by the way. I'm very devastated. I don't like being late. I don't like Mighty Wayne falling asleep at midday UK. So, that's... but neither here nor there. Simon, how are you? What is your take about the Fulham game, man?
It was all right. Like, we just needed a win, and we got one. It wasn't the prettiest. Like, it wasn't the best game I've been to. But, yeah, we kind of scraped through, and we are scraping through with everybody, like, the availability we've got at the moment as well, particularly defensively. But it was a win. We just needed it. Like, we just walked away and went, meh, okay, good, yeah, we're through. Obviously, then... Obviously, I was out with the other lads from the NUFC Comparison, our other podcast on the channel. But yeah, Jamie and I went for a few pints afterwards just to kind of chat about things, and blow off some steam a bit. And it was just a bit of a meh game. Like, that was not a good Fulham side. And we were kind of patched together with Miley at right back as well. And there's a couple of things like you could take away from that as well, and also like what it points out in terms of our gaps at the moment as well. But yeah, got a win. Shah's pass for the start of the goal was fantastic. You'll find out from me that I think Fabian Shah is probably the greatest centre half Newcastle's ever had, and I bang on about that to anybody that will listen. So his pass that started the move.
I had to challenge you on that.
You and Jamie both.
Yeah, you can, and you'll be wrong.
Challenge.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that set up. That's what Shah does brilliantly. He starts moves. Like, he doesn't get in that kind of the assists and the goals column, but with that ping, he can
pre-assist.
Yeah, if there was a stat for that, I imagine he'd be very high up. But yeah, it was a great ball. And then just a striker's finish from Wissa. And Jamie turned to me after the goal and said, "That's what we've been missing." Like, someone who sniffs out goals in the box like that. So yeah, good finish, nice goal for Wissa. And then yeah, Miley popping up with one later on. So yeah, great header, crowd goes mad. Just needed to happen. It was more a sense of relief, I think, when that second goal went in. But yeah, just mission accomplished, I think, and into the next round of the cup for playing a little known team down the road in Manchester.
Yeah, it's actually not much of questioning what would have been if that Miley goal didn't go in, which he was pushed, by the way, by somebody. So you got a bit of a bit luck there. What would have happened? I don't trust Newcastle United with penalties. Never have, never will.
No,
I don't think that
we did not want that.
Yeah, and so woulda, shoulda, coulda, but it's something that that was very much that I was fearing that. And I don't know that, again, much hasn't been mentioned of this, of Gordon and Elanga coming in. Some people saying that was because of the penalties. Well, Gordon has proven that he can shoot a penalty. I don't know about Elanga. I can't put a pass, two passes together, man. So I'm not sure about that. But yeah, that would have been a possibility. And so I think I'd agree. It wasn't a great game. We got it done. We advanced, which is the greatest part about it. And you can say we were in another semifinals, and so that's good. Whether playing like this is going to be enough to beat Chelsea in the weekend is something to talk about. And I got the poll up right now for the people. Do we beat Chelsea? Be honest. Need doubt, need chance, or it will be a draw. Vote now and have your say. 19 votes already. I'm going to – listen, with this, I kind of fall short of what I ask fans, to be honest, because I always say Newcastle will win. It makes no sense, but on every prediction, to be fair. But in this particular case, we need to be honest with ourselves. Playing like yesterday, it wasn't the greatest. It wasn't horrific either, but there's still a lot of areas where we just seem like we can't pass the ball to, like, it's weird, isn't it? Like, you just can't control the ball. I don't know how to describe it. I don't want to say that we can't pass the ball, but it seems kind of that way.
It's the final third. The one difference last night, and we were talking about this at the match, where I was sitting there watching it, was Murphy. He was trying to get the ball into players in the box. Like, he was trying to create something, and like, it's a brand new relationship with Wissa. Like, but I think that if we can get those two firing, I think we've got a different attacking threat from what we've been doing at the moment, because the Elanga and Gordon, I mean, they're off the rails at the moment. They're not performing. But yeah, there's just been this, we get to anybody that's playing a low block and then we just pass it around without cutting through people. And we can't seem to break that down at the moment. That's been a real Achilles heel, I think.
Yeah. Wayne, do you wanna participate, or you wanna just take a nap?
Yeah, I'm just seeing Olasula's in there with his 499 super chat. Thank you, Olasula. Hi, guys. What's your honest view on Wissa's all-round game? And what's the update on TINO?
The update with TINO is plain and simple. The defender will be out for many games, but it's not a season-ending injury, I guess if you will. I mean, we're gonna have to call it an injury because he's gonna be out. I'm not sure that exactly what it is, but the fact is he will miss Chelsea. He will miss probably a couple more games after that. So, in all honesty, well, the games are really close together, so maybe it's not that long, but it seems that way anyway. The fact of the matter is we're not going to have him for a few games, so that's really what matters. And I mean, the guy also hasn't
decimated.
What's your honest view on Wissa's all-around game? Well, Win has a poster of him on his bedroom, and he does things at night. I'm not sure what yet, but we're gonna figure that out about Wissa. My take I'll give you after Simon and Boki. Boki, what do you think of Wissa yesterday?
It was a good debut. I mean, he's obviously not fully fit, and he obviously has he's going to have to get his fitness levels up. But it was an okay start. I mean, he was on the one thing I would say is normally when a player comes back, a chance like he got in the box when the keeper, obviously when he scored the goal, sometimes they miss them because they're just not at the races yet, and they're not quite, back in the scoring rhythm. But he seemed to get straight back into the scoring rhythm. He also seems a bit more vocal than Walter Mada up front. He seems to be willing to shout at players if they're not doing what he says or not doing what he wants. So I think it was a good debut. Again, I think the one thing I would say, if I was Walter Mada, I'd be pretty annoyed that as soon as I come on, he brings the two wingers that have been creating all the chances off and pops they're two wingers on who were absolutely useless again.
Yeah. Some super chats here coming up. Win.
Bookie, that's saying far too much. After was I saying sitting like in that saying now. Sean saying still bad. Sean's saying nah. Bookie says far too much. Jail.
There you go, baby. There you go. So now we're both in jail. All the time. I need to be jailed out pretty soon, man. What's happening? You folks are starting to worry me now. What's going on here? Simon, what did you make of Wissa's debut?
Yeah, he's obviously completely different from Walter Mada. I didn't see much hold-up play. He's not that kind of player. He's on the last shoulder of the defender and he's sniffing around the box. So we have to play to that. So, as I was talking about before, I think Murphy is a better foil for him than the other wingers we've got at the moment because he'll give him the ball. And he's going to need that service, I think, to get goals. And Murphy's looking like the player to do it at the moment. So, yeah, I don't think he got perfect service last night, and that's a relationship to be built. But he looked busy. He could press, and his pressing's I think was more aggressive than Walter Mada as well. Just a pure pace, athleticism thing. Because Walter Mada, I think, and I think that's why Wissa was saying as well, is one to sit off him and feed him through the middle, have that attacking foil through the middle, whereas Murphy can play it from wide. So yeah, all right, and he scored. So yeah, what more can you ask from your number 9?
Yeah. Just to keep things objectively here, because I know when he's amazed by Wissa.
I'm not amazed by Wissa.
Yesterday, you love him. You love him. And you hate Walter Mada. So, that's
I love Walter Mada as well. I want to see them both on together.
But if you had to choose one, which one would you play?
If I had to play one striker between the two, I'd play Wissa.
There you go. So yesterday, a lot of people were excited about it. He scored on his debut, just like Walter Mada. So we probably discuss which one was a better goal in their debut. And I think there'll be only one to choose from. But I saw a lot of. I will agree that he does.
6'7" header.
Against Wolves. He does yell. That's better than finding the ball on your feet and just pushing it in. But so he does yell more for that's something that Walter Mada should do as well. Yell for the ball, want the ball. But it seems yesterday the wingers were looking for him. Out of all those crosses, as you guys were saying, a small percentage made it to him. So we're gonna have to be more accurate with that, if you will. But I see a lot of huff and puff, a lot of moving, a lot of jerking around from Wissa, which could be something that's good, but it doesn't mean much. It just means that you get to see somebody just moving and doing and jerking and doing all of that, trying to you can see it. As far as it's supposed to, Walter Mada just stands in the box and nobody gives him the ball. So, but they're about the same thing, much of nothing. If the wingers don't change the way they approach the game and give this and look for the center forward, then that to me was the main difference from yesterday's first half. That the wingers looked for the center forward, and those wingers were Barnes and Murphy, and Barnes even to.
And the center forward was where a center forward should be.
Yeah, Walter Mada was in there as well. Nobody gave a damn about him. When Gordon and Ilanga came on, they were just like, hey, it's my game now, man. I'm gonna be famous tonight. Gordon especially. So and with Ilanga, he seems to be limited, to be fair. So I mean, I'm not sure about him. But they weren't looking for the center forward whatsoever.
But again, he played Willock and Ramsey in midfield as well. So they were further forward naturally. So the whole team was naturally more further forward at times. So you can't just always blame Walter Mada for the way he plays. The team has to play in a way for him to be able to be in the box all the time.
Well, I would argue differently to that. I would say the fact that Wissa was staying in the box automatically pulled the rest of the team up.
But Wissa wasn't staying in the box though. That's the part that you're missing. Even when we saw the heat map, it was a very, very bright yellow in the midfield. Wissa actually came down and did great.
It was very, very bright yellow in the 6-yard box.
No. They were on both sides. Just like Walter Mada. Funny enough, just like Walter Mada. But obviously, Walter Mada's he was there only for 20 minutes. But the main thing is that I would praise Wissa because he came down to steal a lot of balls. He was doing a lot. He was on the midfield. He was in the midfield trying to take balls, and he did. He was successful in a few. So
Yeah,
but,
I think
the main
his pressing was better. Like I think he can chase people down a lot more. Whereas Walter Mada wants to play with the ball at his feet, like try and bring people in with passing. I think Wissa looks to flick and go. I think he wants to knock it out to the winger first time and run, and that's his game. Whereas Walter Mada wants to play a bit more. They're just two different players.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope this becomes a mute argument and that Eddie Howe has the balls to play the two of them together.
That would be good to see. And I think last night was a good opportunity for that, to be honest, because that wasn't a strong Fulham side. We're missing creativity through the middle. Like you had Willock and Ramsey, who are runners. They're up and down. They carry the ball quite well. They're busy, but they're not that creative, in terms of passing forward. And then Bruno, obviously, who does play it well out to the wingers and gets people involved, and then does try that odd attacking ball. But Walter Mada would have been a different kind of deal altogether, I think. So yeah, it would be good to see.
Yeah, it would be good to see both of them, but it seems like Eddie Howe is not. He's not a fan of that. When we needed a goal against the Mackhams, when we needed a goal yesterday, when they tied the game, he's not bothered about that. So what makes anybody think that he was going to do it?
Christine, I reckon you're going to be on a sabbatical. The early show has convinced me we are going to play Wissa and Walter Mada together. So you'll be
the early
off.
What's what do you mean? How are they convinced? What are you talking about? Who's convinced? What did you guys do in the early show to convince her that Wissa and Walter Mada are going to play together?
I think Wynn's been brainwashing the game, Chris.
Yeah, he's lying to the folks. There's nothing to say that Eddie Howe is going to put them two together. Nothing.
Wait till they're both fully fit.
But if we run out of defenders, we're going to run out of other people to play anyway. So we might end up having to put them both on the pitch at the same time. Because there's no one else left.
That's true. So that means Chelsea.
Yeah, possibly.
That means Chelsea.
Just that point someone was making before about us being up further up the pitch last night than Sunderland. I mean, it was hard not to be further up the pitch than we were against Sunderland, but we were further up the pitch last night. And I don't know if that's about Wissa or Walter Mada and who's playing in that striker position. I think that was a mentality thing from us last night, and that you could see that they were trying to be further up the pitch and press. But I think Wissa helps that because the pressing starts from the striker, and it did when we had. He must not be mentioned in the squad as well. So I think he makes a difference to how aggressive we can be.
That's interesting. The biggest thing is we got a super chat here. Actually, Simon, your hick as a doorstep jail him. What? You want to jail Simon too? Well, that's crazy, man.
Thanks, I think hick as a doorstep kind of feels slightly hypocritical, but I'll get jailed anyway. Let's go for it. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Waz is the one that sounds like a hick. But anyway.
Freedom!
There you go.
How do you get out of jail, by the way? This is my first time in jail.
Oh, well, somebody's got to bail you.
Okay.
Somebody's got to say, look, bail this guy out, bail that guy out. But no, listen, I think the Chelsea game is going to be, well, usually it's easier with Chelsea when they come. A lot of teams when they come, it's especially when the players turn up. And I've been saying we are a driven team. We are a player-driven team to a fault, because when they don't want to turn up, then we don't play good. And I don't see a lot of influence in Eddie Howe this season to change anything as far as how the team plays. I think that it could be a positive in the sense that the players will turn up against Chelsea, but it's still not an easy target. Chelsea are playing decent this season, got a lot of quality players. So how do we form against? And obviously we got all the injuries. So how do we form against Chelsea to beat them? Because we do need Premier League points. What's going to happen with the center backs? Of course, it'll be Chow and Shar, no doubt about it. But the left back and the right back is a big, big concern. As a matter of fact, nobody.
It's going to be Murphy now, I think, isn't it?
It's going to have to be Murphy. And on the right, it's going to have to be who? Murphy? The other Murphy? Both Murphys?
Well, it's going to be Miley again, I think.
It's probably going to be
unless Lewis Hall comes back.
I saw something today.
Lewis Hall is not back.
And Lewis Hall is
Lewis Hall has a hamstring. When?
No.
Didn't I tell you this morning?
No, but he's the latest reports say he could well be fit for Chelsea.
I saw a quote.
What's the latest report? The confidential?
Because you said this morning it was hamstring. I said it was flu. The report I'd seen, and allegedly he's definitely available. He's 90% available for.
Where did you hear this? Because we can't trust you with any news, man. So where did you hear this from?
Where did I hear it? Let me have a look.
You ain't got a clue, man. Dominic Skur is right now. Dominic Skur was saying, if I got it here, I will look for it. He was talking. Oh, there we go. Here, Jordan Cronin. There you go. Lewis is not involved tonight due to a minor hamstring issue. But as long as you put hamstring in it, then you're already knackered. So we had to see which one. That was yesterday, man. So flu what? There's no flu going on anywhere. You might have a flu and a hamstring, so that's even a double whammy. So I wouldn't think that I wouldn't expect them this weekend. Gel went to balance the image. There you go. Damn, we are really knocking. I don't think that we've had this many people in jail all in one show. That is incredible, that, man. Somebody, come on, man.
Not for long, though.
How? Wait, man, this is criminal.
Just funny, lad.
But has got a bias, though. He's got an agenda.
Well, he's my boy.
Yeah, well, I know. You should have been. How much money you owe him child support? That's gonna be. So yeah, I mean, but it's really bad. What's happening with the left back and right back? Who do you guys? You got Murphy. Would you do? Here's the thing, though. You can make all the adjustments you want, like Simon was saying. Maybe this is the weekend. I hope it is, but Eddie Howe don't make no changes like that, man. So come on. 4-3-3 till the day he dies, man. Come on.
think the only thing with it is, does he maybe go 3 at the back? It's the other question. Does he play? You've got 3 fit defenders basically that have played this season.
Yeah, but who's
Murphy,
going to be the third centre back?
Who's the
Well,
third?
Murphy.
Lascelles.
No,
the
Murphy.
third, you need
Murphy is a
Murphy.
Oh, right.
Murphy's the centre back. Yeah, but you're gonna have to have a left. Oh, okay. Okay.
Your wingers down the side.
You can't put. The only problem is when you do wing backs like that, it's hard to put Harvey Barnes there too far down the middle, because now he's got to get up and he's got to come down, and it's kind of a caught in between. You definitely can't do that with Gordon, because Gordon is he's gonna have to run, and unfortunately, that's not his thing. He wants to be the main guy. Yeah, I don't know.
There's problems there. Whatever way he plays it, basically, isn't there? There's major issues this weekend. If
because I think Murphy will.
Right, I've got it. It's in the Metro. Meanwhile, Lewis Hall is in contention to return after missing the win over Fulham due to a hamstring issue.
There you go.
This is a direct quote from Howe. Lewis,
wait, time out.
Direct quote from Howe. Direct quote from Howe. Lewis,
I mean,
more
that was
positive on.
Shambolic.
Lewis, we're more positive on, said Howe. He couldn't play today because of tightness of his hamstring, but he has a chance for Chelsea.
Yeah, he has a chance, but so that means,
You've actually looked an article up to argue with yourself. You said he had flu.
Exactly, man. This dude is criminal, man. I'm telling you, man. He's talking about a flu, and now he doesn't want to bring up the flu no more.
Because
anyway,
he was also quoted as having flu before yesterday's match.
All right, man. Yeah, okay, man. Listen, I'm gonna let it by. I'm gonna let it go. But I'm not gonna annihilate you. Free Chris, can't make it easy for the mighty. There you go. I'm out, man. I'm gonna be out in a minute. Simon, you were saying you were.
Yeah, sorry. Before the craziness about Lewis Hall, I was suspecting he'd be back for Chelsea. That seems to be the vibe from Howe on him. And then you've got Murphy to come on if he gets injured. It's the right back that's the problem as well. And just on the right back situation, because obviously Tino's out, Kraft's out, Trippier's out.
Yeah.
I think generally we've been missing a player like Trippier, because he wasn't just good quality right back, but since he came in, since his career at Newcastle, he's been a big leader for us, and all about the way we play. So I think Trippier is actually a bigger miss than just having him as a right back. I don't think we lose the Sunderland game if people like Trippier and Dan Burn stay on the pitch. Obviously Dan Burn got cattled, but I think we're missing Trippier's level of leadership on the pitch as much as him being a right back. But if you're asking me about Saturday, I think Murphy's probably a better option than Miley at right back for Chelsea.
Mm-hmm. It's just going to be difficult, but I think that even you play Murphy, he's done that before. My biggest concern now is that because some can be so easily deceived, some believe that Miley is a right back now, and we got to keep doing that. And that is the problem. The problem with repeating the Dan Burn situation. We know there's deficiencies there, and eventually when you play a good team like Chelsea, that kid is as young as he is. That's fine. He's got no defensive attributes to chase somebody. He has no pace to chase anybody. He is 8 feet tall. It's just a combination. It's the same thing with Dan Burn. It ain't no difference. I maintain my conviction when I criticize Dan Burn and ended up criticizing Eddie Howe now, because obviously there's nothing Burn can do other than just say yes or say no. But how's he gonna look to say I can't play? I can't play, boss. The same thing would be with the Lewis Miley situation. You can't be blinded about a good performance where he was really a midfielder. He wasn't a right back. Fulham were not a good side, as Simon and many others have said. They didn't challenge whatsoever that side. And actually, the one time they did, boom, you had to get it out of the net. So we got to be careful when doing. I know that, in the high of it all, we think that it's a sit now, Miley on the right. Calm down, man. You got players where they need to play. Yeah. He needs to be a midfielder. In my opinion, John Linton hasn't been performing. He's injured anyway. So Play him in the midfield just like everybody. If you want him to be on the right so bad, then play him on the midfield on the right. If that's what you want. But he needs to be a midfielder, Bruno and Tonali. So I don't. That's why I don't want to see. But more than likely, he would probably play right back because I know Eddie Howe way too well now. I don't know. You guys agree with him playing Miley as right back? Or what do you guys think? Says Chris and win out, Boki, slap him all about. Hey, there you go. But what do you guys think of Miley playing right back potentially this weekend?
I don't think we've got a lot of options.
Oh, you do actually. I'd rather have Murphy on right back with pace than Miley. Yeah, it's one option. And he's probably done more than Miley ever has. So,
I think
the only problem with that would be the player
Miley. Has Miley got the will? First of all, does he want to? And has he got the discipline to stay in that right back position? Because their goal yesterday came directly from the back.
Would you look at that? Oh no, my bad. We jailed Simon. Would you look at that though? I'm sorry to cut you off, Mighty Wayne, but look at that. Would you look at that, man? Would you just look at that? Would you look at what Wynn just said? You can't look at something somebody says anyway. But anyway, did you guys hear him? He says, "Does Miley have the discipline to stay back?" When it comes to the 73-year-old Dan Burn, that's what he does, man. Go forward. That's what he does. He has never said, "Does Burn have the discipline to stay back?" You see the inconsistency, the flip-flopping like a pen.
Has Eddie Howe turned round and said that he's told Miley to push forward, which he has said about Dan Burn, that he wants him to play
but that doesn't matter.
That just back, makes the same as Lewis Hall plays.
But that doesn't matter. That just makes Howe wrong, man.
Well, okay, but if he said that to Miley, fair enough. But I think it's just Miley wanting to do his natural thing that he just forgets temporarily that he's supposed to be playing at right back. And thank God he does.
I mean, the other option is that Shawmar, isn't it? The young lad.
Well, yeah. As I was saying this morning, you've got that option, but if you put Shahar in, so you're putting a young, unproven lad in right back, who do you then take out the team?
Win, what did you just say there? You're putting a young, untested lad in, yeah?
Yeah.
What have I been saying all season? Get these young lads on the bench when players aren't fully fit and give them a little bit of time towards the end of games so they're not untried in the half.
Yeah, but we're talking about who's going to start the game.
No, but I'm saying if you'd done that for this season, then they wouldn't be going in completely dry of any first team football. If you'd had them on the bench, so they knew what was going on in the first team squad, and then you give them a few minutes at the end of games, they then would have a little bit of experience of playing in the Premier League or playing in a cup or in the first team as such. But Eddie Howe just won't do that.
I think one of the problems there is, and you're right, I agree, it's just I don't think we've had enough games where we're that comfortable at the end of the game or in the last 45 minutes to go, right, we can take a few risks here or we can put some youngsters up to give them a spin. It just hasn't been that kind of season, unfortunately, where we've had the luxury, where we're in a comfortable position against the team that we're dominating. Just haven't been there. But it should have been that game last night. But yeah, we let them score and we were still kind of chasing the game towards the last stages. And it was only by injury that we had to bring Alex Murphy on. So yeah, I agree. In an ideal world, absolutely get them on, but we just haven't had the opportunity because we haven't been dominating teams, unfortunately.
But the thing, because some of the chat says, well, Murphy can't defend either, Chris, blah, blah, blah. Well, but listen, this is an emergency situation. I'd rather have somebody with pace. At least I know that he can catch up to somebody.
Yeah.
And to the wing, and just for the sake of doing it, instead of Miley, who just can't, man. And I think Derek Wetta in the chat was saying that he kept up with his man all day. He didn't, man. Come on, let's not lie to each other here. He didn't. There wasn't a defensive masterclass by Miley by any means. I know he got man of the match, he got the game winner and all that. I understand that, but when we think like this, we got to start thinking critically. We can't just be in the high of the game winner, man. You know, we're talking about Chelsea now. If we got away with it, I'm saying it was an emergency situation. You put a tourniquet on, don't mean you can live with a tourniquet on. You got to take it off sometime and have surgery. So although we're still in an emergency situation, now we got time to think, who can we put out there on the wing? But the solution is very easy if you think about it, but you have to have a manager that is open to change the formation. But if you are not open to that, then you're going to have to make these changes where you put players where they're not supposed to be, like Murphy or even Miley. I don't agree with that. But for example, if you go with the Christmas tree formation that Win and I were talking about earlier, the problem is solved, really. You don't have to improvise with many players, I don't think. Did we end up improvising, Win? I don't know if we ended up improvising. I think you had. I can't remember now. I should have looked it up. But you just don't play with wingers. You know, Walter Mada,
I would play with Walter Mada,
Harvey Barnes, Wissa,
and Wissa up front, and I would drop a winger.
I'll tell you this: Willick would probably be a better right back than.
I would play 3-4-2-1 with Wissa, with Walter Mada and Barnes,
or 3-2-1
in the 2 behind Wissa, and 4 across the middle, so we're not weakened in the middle. 3 at the back. And that would mean you'd probably have to play Lewis Hall on the left of midfield, if fit, and Murphy on the right of midfield, or Miley.
Win, just on a quick point that you made about Miley, which I actually agree with in regards to maybe he's losing his mindset a little bit and going forward from the right back position. Would Howe not have been better off trying to teach one of the more experienced players up to do that role? Somebody who's played for a long time, and maybe like a Bruno, pop them there and play Miley in the midfield, because Bruno's obviously got more football experience, so he maybe would have the mindset to be able to think, you know, I can't go forward at this point.
I just think they'd be losing so much, taking Bruno from, like 8 and 8 and putting him into it too hard.
Jacob Murphy, I think, is the best fit for a replacement right back because he's got the pace.
Yeah.
And he's played at wing back.
And he's done it before,
And he's done it before, yeah.
Exactly. I think Boki was going to make the point before, though. It's who you put in front of him, because Murphy works at right wing because he has a good, solid defensive player behind him. Murphy's then out of position playing at right back, let's say, and he's not the best defender. I've always questioned Murphy a little bit just in terms of his commitment in tackles, but it's a very minor point. But then if you put Alanga in front of Murphy, suddenly that right side gets very weak, I think, defensively. Although lots and lots of pace. But I think Murphy's always played really well when he's had someone like Trippier behind him as well, because he'll get the ball early. That gives Murphy more time to pick his passes. That system's always worked. I think it's very like plastered over, but Murphy right back, I think, is the best option. But it's then who you put in front of him. It might even be better to have someone like Barnes in front of him on the right hand side.
The only problem is, so Chelsea, the Everton, they play against Cardiff City, but that was an easy walk in the park. So, but Pedro Neto is on the right wing when they play Everton. Garnacho on the left.
We are not good.
I mean, if you're talking about we got the left back. Who's gonna play left back? Murphy. Okay, Alex Murphy. If we were to do 4-3-3, that should be decent. Matter of fact, that should be good because he is a defensive type, player. So he's not really attacking a whole bunch. You're gonna lose that, of course, but it is what it is. But so you're gonna have a good replacement, really, when you talk about the circumstances. Oh, the right is the problem because the right. Let me see here. The right would be Garnacho. Ooh, yeah, Garnacho got a lot of pace. And I'm telling you, man, I just don't want. First of all, I don't want Newcastle United to be vulnerable. That's my main concern over any feelings. Second of all, I don't want the young lad to suffer what Byrne has suffered for many, many months. And just because one old fan that we know about thinks he's great at it, that doesn't mean anything. So I just, because the heat he's gonna get, man. You know, it's just, we know how this is, man. We know how this goes. So he's not gonna keep up with Garnacho. No way, no way. No. I just don't, especially Garnacho, because it's not just pace. Garnacho is, quick with it. It's got a lot of what do you call? He beats his men all the time. Got a shot on him. Very talented guy, man. I just don't think we can funny around with him, to be honest. Listen, I'm not saying Murphy's going to be any great either, but at least he's got pace to keep up. That's all I got to say, man. But we're knackered anyway. So either way you want to look at it.
Yeah, the only thing I'd say about
has Murphy got real pace?
Yeah, man.
He's faster than Miley, I'd say.
It's faster than Miley, I know that.
Yeah.
Right,
They're two different players. So I think Miley is better defensively. I think he's more physical because he's 6'4". He's a big lad, and like he's probably a bit more difficult to get away from physically. It's just the pace. Like I think Murphy's can't put in as big a tackle. I think Miley's probably more solid defensively, but it's the pace, I think. And for Garnacho, it's not a physical battle; it's pace. So you probably want Murphy there, I'd say.
So here's an interesting one. First of all, the first poll: do we beat Chelsea? No doubt. 36% of the voters. 33 said it'll be a draw, and 31% says no chance. So very, very divided, to be honest. I want to put up a new one. Who do you want at right back versus Chelsea? Miley, Jacob Murphy. Who else could it be? To put an option so the people can tell us.
But Shahar.
What? Oh yeah, I forgot about. Wait a minute. Shahar, he gonna give my vote because at some point, after you lose the main guy, the second guy, the third guy, the fourth guy, the fifth guy, Shahar has to be able to do a job, man. He's got to be there for a reason at this point. And I wouldn't blame Eddie Howe for putting him on because we know what the situation is. And I mean, he just got to put a natural. I forgot about Shahar. I'm going with Shahar. But who else could it be? Oh, look at that, man. Look at that, man. We got the one and the only, Mr. Hutch, who is NUFC comparisons bedwetter to a certain extent. So there you go.
What an intro.
No,
what an
intro. The exact opposite.
No, he's a bedwetter because he's the most negative one out of all three. So, there you go. Jail? Who's in jail now? I'm keeping up with the whole thing. Oh, there you go. So there you go. So give me one more option for the right back, if there is one. First of all,
Ramsey,
Shahar, Miley, Murphy. Ooh. Hey man, I'm telling you, Joe Willock. I think we need Ramsey in the middle, if anything. But I think Willock, man, we'll put Willock on the right. He's got a lot of pace, a lot more pace than Murphy. At this point, we got to give up on defense.
Willock right back. How weird, man.
Yeah,
he's right-footed and he is fast.
He's not. He's well at the back of the queue, I think, for me.
All right. Well,
what's happened to Harrison Ashby? Somebody's just Christina's just put in the chat there.
That is a great.
Well, I think he's going to be. Yeah, that's true. And that's another one. So people can vote now, folks. Who do you want to right back versus Chelsea? Miley, Murphy. Oh, I misspelled Murphy, but you get the point. And Shahar. Vote now. Who do you want to be? Miley should never be on that list anyway. I'm gonna go for Shahar because I'm gonna vote for the young lad. At some point, you got to give these lads a chance, man. So, there you go.
But
vote now, folks.
The only question I ask, out of those three, the automatic choice would be Shahar for me. But if you put Shahar in, who are you taking out the team?
Nobody, man.
But you've got to take somebody out.
Why?
You can't play with 12.
Yeah, but who are you talking about? Miley. Miley needs to be on in the midfield like he what he is, a midfielder, man. This is not rocket science. Apologies for the shouting, Hutch and Simon. I know you guys not used to that, but it's not rocket science, man. You take Ramsey out. If you got to pick out of the two, you take him out. It's not that hard, man. Why you got to make a rocket science?
Well, it's in better light, Hutch, but you're still wearing lipstick.
Always wearing lipstick.
There you go, man. Hey, you need makeup before getting in front of the camera, man. Did you not know that? Always need makeup, man. So vote right now, folks. Who do you want? Either Shahar, Miley, or Jacob Murphy at right back. That's the position we are really bad at. And Derek Wedding supporting, Toon players, of course, laughing at Shahar. So there you go. Go on, Hutch.
No, me and Hutch were going to have an undisputed because it was I was going to be the bedwetter and Hutch was going to be the culty because his lane in the sand is way past my lane in the sand. So we were going to do a special, but we haven't got around to it yet. We haven't been able to tie a time.
What do you think, Hutch?
Well, it would not surprise me at all if he plays 3 centre-backs and he plays a right wing-back in Murphy. And if Hall's fit, Hall can play the left wing-back. If not, then potentially Ramsey could play left wing-back. But, I mean, I don't like the sound of it. Miley, I thought, did all right the other night, but I would prefer to see him in midfield.
Who's your third centre back?
That's a good point, Simon.
Murphy.
But you could.
Lascelles not available.
Well,
or Murphy. I mean, you put Alex Murphy there. He's the centre back.
Yeah.
You could. Yeah, Alex Murphy.
The thing is with that though, if you're changing the system and putting in players that haven't played much, I feel like that's too many variables. Which is why 4-3-3 would be safer if you're bringing people in that don't play in those positions, because it's the one that they probably train on the most. And that's what Hal's been kicking off about as well. He's been saying they've not had time to prepare for matches because the fixture list has been so jammed. So making big tactical adjustments has been difficult. Might just be an excuse, but I think it would be tricky to do formation and new players all for the Chelsea game. I think that would be very risky.
I mean, I do think that they train also to use a back three just in case. But I'll take your point that we don't actually have any fit centre backs either. I completely forgot about that, to be honest.
Did you read that one,
Yeah, thank you, Animal Lecter.
We
had on the phone the other day, didn't we?
Yeah,
in fact, that's Chris, isn't it?
No, it isn't. Did you not read Tony's super chat, man? What's the matter with you?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I did. I put it up. I hadn't read it yet. I didn't know Macaulay Culkin was a Newcastle fan, so there's another nickname you've got, Hutch.
There you go. There you go. Lovely. Watch it, man. Home Alone 1, 2. I love the third one. I think was it the third one where not the same guy, but he had a 3 guys. It was like a snowstorm and 3 some mafia guys or something. And he had the little boy had a bird, a mouse, and a toy car. And he saved an old lady. Oh my gosh, you guys are necking me. But anyway, I think that was the fourth.
I still think the first one was the best. The slapstick in that was just sensational.
Anyway, but no, listen. Who do you, because Derek here, the guy says, well, you talk about players being crucified against Chelsea, and you want to put Shahar, who has not played a Prem game. Man, if they're in the squad, they should be able to handle a Premier League game. And by the way, I wouldn't blame Eddie Howe, and I wouldn't crucify any player. It's just an emergency. But I guarantee you, if Miley has a bad game as opposed to Shahar, Miley will be crucified. You know how this works very well, man. I know how this works, man. Trust me.
Well, I don't know who'll get crucified by it. Certainly not get crucified by me.
Yeah, but Dan Burn, over a long period of time, has been crucified every single game for playing left back. And quite honestly, rightly, yeah, of course you're not. Because you're a culty, so you're part of the cult. You're gonna speak against any of that. But it's clear and evident that Burn cannot play left back, and Miley cannot play right back. Man, we cannot. After one game, all of a sudden we found Cafu. It's a Geordie. Way, man.
I mean, the other option is does he do the nuclear option and go 3-4-3? Sorry, 3-4-2. No, sorry, 3-5-2.
3-4-2.
3-5-2. Sorry,
that's what I want to see. 3-4-2.
No, well, no, go. But yeah, that system, or as I see, like the 3-5-2 3-5-2, go with Walter Mada and Wissa up front, go with the two wingers, go with Barnes and obviously Murphy, go with your central three, and go with the back three, and just hope that we'll score more goals than them.
Love to see it. I would just love to see. I just can't wait to see. I'm sure I'm going to see it. Walter Mada and Wissa on the same pitch.
No,
I also want to see that. However, I don't think it's going to be this soon.
It's not going to happen.
Well, no, I think they've both got to be fully fit. Because apart from anything else, it means you're leaving yourself without a forward on the bench.
It ain't going to happen.
And the only option would then be Gordon, and we know.
But then he's got an option on the bench because he's got Neve on the bench, and he's never played him either.
Well, that's true.
He's had John Ruddy on the bench for a long time as well, but we haven't unleashed him on the Premier League yet. So.
Oh man,
Can he play right back?
John
Player of the Year at Norwich once upon a time.
Yeah,
but no, that's just criminal, man. Well, I think Simon has to go. Simon, thank you very much, mate, for joining us tonight. And apologies for the shouting, mate. But it's
good to get out of jail. Thanks for that, Chris.
There you go. At least you're free. You're free, man. At least you're free, man. Now Hutch is subbing in for you, tagging you in, tagging you out, basically. So thank you very much, man. Have a good one. All right, take care.
Cheers.
See you, Simon. Ta-da.
There you go. That was Simon there. We got another 20 minutes or so here on the show. A bit of a slow one, to be fair. What's going to happen on the weekend is the biggest question. But Hutch, what is your take on the Fulham game? Where were you? What do you think?
Oh God, it was an awful game. I thought Wissa did well. I thought he stretched the defence well. He got his goal, which everyone wanted to see, obviously, and he did well in it, because obviously it came back at him really quickly, and he still managed to control it and put it in the back of the net. I haven't seen the replay of Murphy's, but from where I was sat in the stadium, it didn't look offside. Now, if someone tells me categorically that he was offside, then I'll just accept it. But yeah, Fulham basically just came to frustrate us and hope that they would nick a goal, which is basically what they did when they came up here in the Premier League as well. They were average at best, but we couldn't break them down, and it's a consistent issue. What is also a consistent issue is us not being able to control second balls. But I've seen heat maps of where people were when we were in the build-up of possession, and there is that little gap there where basically everyone's trying to kind of like work around the box, but then there's a basic gap between those players trying to get into the box and the central defenders. And when the ball drops into that area, then other teams are able to exploit that and then hit us on the break. And especially when we're really going for it, like when we desperately need that goal, which is what we did towards the end of that game. It was getting a bit edgy towards the end. Now, fortunately, Miley scored that goal from the corner. He's actually quite good at them, isn't he? Those little flick-on headers. He scored a couple of those now. So, it wasn't a disaster, but if that was the performance, if that was the performance that they said that they were going to give us following the Sunderland debacle, I wasn't mightily impressed.
In a world where 4-3-3 has invaded the world of football for a long time, with Barcelona leading, Real Madrid leading it for a long time, and of course every big Premier League team for a while, Chelsea playing 4-2-3-1, basically 4-3-3, but more compacted, more with a 10, more, they seem to be doing all right with Cole Palmer there. Of course, you got to have a Cole Palmer, but you'll never know unless you play one. Maybe Walter Mada, maybe Wissa. They can both play together. But why is Eddie Howe just so reluctant to try new things? I mean,
well, to be fair, Wissa's only been back a couple of games, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I suspect that
yeah.
sometime in the new year, then we possibly will try that. I'll
But
desperately.
you can first of all, I don't know if we got enough time to be honest to weigh too much to make it. But you can even play with Harvey Barnes there. It doesn't have to be Wissa or Walter Mada. You put Harvey Barnes as a 10. You can have still Gordon if you want to. If you want to trust that he will come back, make a comeback at some point. He's still not performing, by the way. I don't hear much of that about that. He's still very, very, very somber, man. That's what you get for paying people a lot of money, Win. And what you gonna do? Oh, so Gordon's playing good?
No, he's not playing good.
Okay, so what do you mean?
No,
So
I
what do you?
don't think it necessarily correlates with him being paid a lot of money. That's what I don't agree with.
Well, okay. That's you made the argument before anyway, but about other players that you have an agenda with, like Tonali. But neither here nor there. Tonali was great, by the way.
No, well, that was another plus point to come out yesterday. Tonali's performance when he came on, he looked to be back to his best. Still gave the ball away a couple of times needlessly, which was not a feature of his game at all.
I'm not sure you're going to find a midfielder that never gives the ball away, but
I agree with you. But Tonali was one of those. Tonali was one of those that never gave the ball away.
No,
you would get that first touch pass, and it would always go to a black and white shirt. And lately, it hasn't happened. But he was much better yesterday than he's been for the last few days.
Cheers, Walter, for your super chat. Go on, Boogie.
No, I explained to KG about sleeping your way to the top.
Read before your show, bro.
Exactly.
Go on, Boogie.
Was that naughty boy?
There's been a VAR review and seemingly Win shouldn't be in prison and you should.
Me?
Yeah.
Why is it, man?
It's been going on in the chat.
There you go. So there you go. We're back at it. I'm back at it. Nobody's bailing me out, man. What's going on here? The American Mag. Free the American Mag, man. I know you guys joke. People for nonsense over there in the UK, so now I'm jailed. I criticize Eddie Howe, and I'm in jail, man. How way?
Gary made the point before the show. Did you see Tonali celebrate when the corner went in?
Well, yeah, he turned around and he gave him.
Well, no, he thought it was his. Scored. He thought it went straight in again.
Well, who says that? I don't know.
It in.
Well, Tonali thought he'd scored.
But why? Why? Because he celebrated to the crowd. I don't think so, actually.
That's what it looked like to me.
All he did is he saw the goal, turned around, and he celebrated with the crowd, man. He's already there where everybody's coming to.
No, the
Tonali agenda continues on this channel, ladies. Unbelievable.
What's the agenda, man? What's the
agenda, man?
That's poor. That's really poor from him.
Love it.
Unbelievable, man. This is unbelievable. So now Tonali's a selfish guy. But when Bruno does this to the crowd, that's amazing. The martyr, the hero, the statue, the cult hero, the all of this nonsense, man. But when Tonali does that he is selfish. He is selfish. He thought it was his goal. He stole the light from the young Geordie lad. Okay,
he didn't do it on purpose.
You're out your mind, man.
He automatically thought he had scored directly.
He'd scored.
This is criminal, man. Man. I hate to be Italian in the tune, man. Lord have mercy. This is discrimination, ladies and gents. Discrimination against the meatballs. But anyway, it's it'll be interesting. I don't know what Eddie Howe's going to do, but more than likely, she's going to put Miley on the right. And again, he'll have a blunder, and we'll keep criticizing the young Miley now. He's going to get him out.
Who's going to keep criticizing him if he has a blunder?
I've seen this movie way too many times, man. Way too many times. I've seen this movie way too many times.
The goal that they scored wasn't his fault. Murphy didn't track his man back.
True, you can say that. You can say that. Although he was more or less playing center back at the time. By the way, he should have been as a right back. He should have been as a right back.
That whole quadrant was empty. Not Donovan, man.
Thank you, Ronald, man. Appreciate it, man. I'm just saying.
Ronnie,
but I know how this goes, though, man. Week after week.
Predictions in, Ronnie, man.
I'm not gonna criticize him, but I know how this works. Well, and eventually, if he plays right back and he doesn't perform and he's not performing like Burn at left back, I'm gonna have to criticize him. I have no choice but to. It's just it is what it is, and you guys should do the same. Not because just he's a Geordie and blah, blah, blah. He is from wherever he's from. Where is Miley from?
Westerhope. Well, actually,
he's from Westerhope.
No, he plays. His bands play for Westerhope, but he's not actually from Westerhope.
His band. He ain't got no band.
He's from Conserway, isn't he?
Yeah, he's band. Lewis Miley ain't. Oh, he is a Baron. What are you talking about, Baron?
That's what I'm telling you. Him and his clan play for Westerhope.
So his brothers and your siblings you're talking about. Not his. He doesn't have kids.
He was regularly seen. He was regularly seen at Westerhope.
Now I gotta get in majority lessons. Do you guys use Barons to describe siblings as well?
Depends. It's kind of. No.
So then why you do it? What the heck, man? So why'd you do it then? My client plays the fifth, baby.
What I'm saying is the Mileys all played for Westerhope.
Okay.
Junior.
War Captain Bruno there saying Miley is from Stanley.
Miley's from Stanley. Yeah, that's it.
Right. That's it. Yeah.
He's from Stanley.
But they played for Westerhope Boys Club. Is where they were.
Yeah, man, come on, man. He's from Stanley. I can't remember the song now.
He's from Blantyre. He'll never ever be Stanford. He's from Blantyre. He's from Blantyre. He'll never ever be.
The point of gentleness is, what if Miley performs well at right back? He's not a right. You see what I'm saying? You see, you understand now. Are you guys understanding what I'm talking about? So now people are getting comfortable with the idea of him being a right back. How way the lads, lasses, and barons and the twats out there, man.
I don't think it's fair on the young lad. He's being introduced into the team. He's been introduced slowly as a midfielder. Then all of a sudden, because we've got a problem at right back, Howe chucks him back there. Give a young lad who's actually a right back a chance to play there. Don't try to change somebody else's position who's just beginning to develop themselves into the midfield.
It ain't gonna work.
Except if you were to ask Miley, would you rather play at right back or not play at all? Which is what would happen.
But why would you ever? What kind of question is this? Help me, Lord! Somebody help me. What kind of question is this, man? Of course he'll say, I want to play goalkeeper as long as I play. What kind of question? Exactly what? So Eddie Howe just
if
because
you're putting Shahar in, you've got to take somebody out. Who are you taking out?
If you're asking me where I would put Miley, I would put him in midfield where he was born to be at. Is that so hard to understand, man?
Right. So you would take Ramsey out.
Yeah. What's wrong with that? Who's dying for taking Ramsey out?
Not me.
So what's the argument? So what? How way, man? Hey, Hutch, come on, man. Old Geordies can't think like that, man. Come on.
If you put Shahar in, I would take Willock out, personally.
Look,
I think Willock will come up for Tonali anyway, won't he?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It'll be Bruno, Tonali, and Miley, I hope.
But that should be it. Yeah. We don't need to start making positions just to fit Miley and just for the sake of it. You know what I mean? He's a good midfielder. He's the next Yaya Toure. He's the next Patrick Vieira. He needs to be on the pitch, man. But in midfield, not at right back. Some common sense, please. I mean, come on, man. It's late in the UK, almost 11 p.m. Surely we can't be thinking this way. Voice of an angel, by the way. Christina says you got win, so that's one positive thing out of this.
Steve Waldo, they're making the point, Howe trusts Miley to do the job there. And that is it. He's right. That's it. If Howe trusts him to do the job there,
that don't make him right.
It's not.
That don't make him right.
It's not ideal. It's not an ideal situation. But if he trusts him to be there, then he trusts him to be there. I mean, the argument could be made on the other side. Lewis Hall was a midfielder, and then he was shunted out to left back, and now he's an amazing left back. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. with Lewis Miley. But he didn't do a bad job against Fulham. Like, he was out of position, fair enough, for the goal. But lots of people were.
Oh, man.
We've already established that.
And especially if, as seems likely, shall we say, Livramento is City-bound.
Are you serious right
right back?
Are you serious right now?
But
are you implying that Mike needs to be our right back?
Hasn't the club just released loads of shares to basically buy some new players, presumably defenders?
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, there's a new share just been issued for £45 million. Very nice.
And just like clockwork, my biggest worry, my biggest concern comes to fruition. When saying Livermento's leaving, so he looks at the camera and does more or less Miley on the right now. We found our Cafu. We found our Alexander Arnold. You see what I'm saying? You see the problem now? It's not about one game. It's not about him doing it. Now it seems like the hypnotized fans believe that this is it now. We can play him. He's a right back now. You see the problem? This is Dan Burn 2.0. Dan Burn 2.0. Why do we do this to ourselves, man? Why? Why? My question is, why do we suffer like this? We choose to suffer. We choose to suffer like this.
We're going to try and find a right back.
Oh, yeah. I think that's the solution that we need to do, yeah. You came up with that like that, you should be working for the NASA, man. But there you go. Now I agree.
If you sell Tino, you've got to buy two right backs then, as well as a left back and potentially two centre backs.
Should have gone for the Hernandez brothers.
That's where we are.
You aren't going to sell Tino Livramento in the window.
No, definitely not.
Yeah,
if they were going to buy him, they would sell him in the summer, if that was the case. Now, you can kind of understand that if we don't get some form of European football, he's probably going to want to leave.
Man, exactly.
So,
if he's fit.
Well, that's another issue.
I guarantee you.
This is
no. But there are things. There are fit, and there is really there's unfit players at the moment, and there's really unfit players at the moment. Man City will get over him being unfit for now. There's a few days that he's going to be. That's not a season-ended injury or a terminal injury that he has. So he'll be back. It's just another injury. So trust me.
It's yet one more injury on top of all these other injuries on top of all these other
injuries. But that never changes. He's had those injuries. So whether they want to buy him or they don't. And if they want to buy him right now with all the injury history, then nothing's going to change. So if they want to buy him, that I agree. This is not going to happen in January. I think that's a summer type signing. But I know for a fact he doesn't want to renew his contract yet because he wants to see what's going on with the World Cup. And there you go.
I think Wynn's setting all this up, and his dream now is Miley at right back and Burn at left back.
Oh, the two Geordies, the two big tall Geordies flying around on the wings, man. That's it. He's done. Oh wait a minute. What's that? You bored? Fancy not letting me on ring in? Is he? Oh, I don't know. The phone is off, man. When the phone is off, it can't call. This is not a calling show, mate. Calling. And by the way, this is not. If you want to call Mighty Wayne and have a chat with him, you got his phone number. Call him. This is a business phone number, man. You know, fans call in. We can't clog up the line, man. And the line is not on anyway. But we do appreciate and we love you, Wissa, for supporting the channel, man. Don't worry. Well, but the question remains for Chelsea. It's going to be a difficult one. It's going to be a difficult one. Jillian says that Miley is willing and not going to have a dive playing there. Plus, he has the intelligence. All right. And listen, I've said my piece.
Div.
Now have a div.
Have a div playing there potentially.
I think he's not going to have a dive. He's not going to throw his toys out the pram.
Yeah, okay. I'm just saying, man. If you don't see it, then that's fine. It is what it is. Well, I'll just have to be here and suffer and whinge when we lose. And it is what it is. We're used to it now. Kim Cam says, do not hype the player. He's not an established right back. He's not even a right back, more or less established.
Never mind established. We know he's not an established right back.
Hell, man. It's criminal, this man. Dominic Soboslai doesn't complain, helping out the right back. Dominic Soboslai, man. Man, we need to...
No, but that's a
cry,
very
man.
pertinent case in point.
Dominic Soboslai, man. The pace in Soboslai. The shot in Soboslai. The thinking of Soboslai.
And he plays right back for the team.
But they haven't won many matches when he's been playing right back.
That's
this
true.
is why you can see Chris being upset about it.
I'm upset. I want to cry right now to sleep. Because, that's one thing. You can't have one good thing because always this is like a good looking Geordie lass giving you a wink for, and then you think that she's in love with you, man. And you think she's in love with you, man. It's not. It's just a little flirt. She didn't mean it. Maybe you carry her bags for it. She don't mean it. She don't like you. You're ugly, man. Stop thinking she wants you. It's the same thing with Lewis Miley, man. It's not a right back. He's not a right back. Come on, man. And I thought Hutch was gonna come in and talk some sense, man. Be on my side. I mean, it's just
what would be your lineup for Saturday? Hutch.
Mine? Oh.
Mine? Well, hang on. Is this my lineup, or is
if we
this
assume that Hall's going to be fit?
Is this what I think Eddie Howe will do, or this is what
No, what would you do?
You need to assume Hall is not going to be a fit.
Right. Why I'm going to assume that Hall is fit, because otherwise I will cry. Right. So, unfortunately, you've got to play Ramsdale because Pope isn't fit. So then, would I play Shahar? Personally, I would play Shahar if it was me. Having never seen the kid play, I would definitely play him. Then I would play Shah at right centre back with Chow at left centre back because I think that works better than the other way around. With Hall at left back, even if he lasts only 2 minutes, I'd still play him. I'll then play Bruno as a defensive midfielder, Tonali, Miley. Then Murphy, because I still don't think Alanga's done anything. I would probably play Barnes, even though he really wasn't very good against Fulham. And then Wissa.
You will put Wissa for Walter Mada or Walter Mada Wissa? I forgot. I didn't catch that.
You've got too many players there.
No, I haven't.
Walter Mada and Wissa and Barnes and Murphy.
I didn't say Walter Mada. I said
Murphy.
You
didn't say Walter Mada.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't say that.
However, I would be tempted to take Miley out and put Walter Mada in and play two up top.
I mean,
just Tonali and Bruno in midfield.
Yeah.
Wow.
They can both play deeper, and you can play a double pivot with Walter Mada ahead of them.
That's right. But
however, that is not what Howe
It's
will
not
do.
going to happen.
So Howe will play Miley at right back.
Be ready to fall off your seat here, but I think we do need to play the three in midfield because I'm going to agree with Win. Well, we do need to play the three in midfield if we're going to play them two young fullbacks or one young fullback. So you've got Tonali there to give him a little bit of cover. Otherwise, they are going to struggle.
It's not Reece James they had playing in midfield against Everton.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know he didn't make that.
Quite a lot.
I didn't know.
He's made that transition, Chris. He's made that transition. He's
made the transition. See you later, mate. Derek, great to see you, buddy. No, but somebody that's actually played midfielder, for example, has been Lewis Hall. And quite honestly, as much as a terrier that he is, with his little niggles and injuries that he's having, at some point he might need to make that transition. If that's going to be a difference maker. He has been a midfielder. Miley, when's the last time Miley played right back? When he was 2. So, that's not the same thing. Lewis Hall has been a midfielder for a good part of his life. I think even until he got to Chelsea. right up to when he went to Chelsea. So I would probably do that, at some point. I'm not against that, But you got to realize that it's a much more, it's a more difficult thing to do is to be in a static position to go to a position where you got to run nonstop. So it's and especially if you're tall, lanky, and that's much more difficult to do than, for example.
I don't like the idea of calling a midfielder a static position.
Well,
because the
midfielder
should be running around all over the place,
but not as much as the right wing, right back, right? You agree with that?
Not as much as a wing back, getting up and down.
Okay. So there you go. You agree with me then. So we agree into something. I think if you tell me, for example, Miley with his height, with playing midfield, play more or less a 6, holding back in a lot of ways. If you ask me if you were in a difficult situation, you say he should play center back, I'll probably be in for that. He's tall, he's got the speed, and he's got the capabilities to, get the team pushing forward. You got to teach him a few defensive things, stay here, stay there. With a proper Malik Chow next to him, or even an experienced Shar, you can do that. But going to right back or left back, that's a lot to ask for, man. For a young Baron, would you rather have Miley playing right back or center back or right center back?
Right back by a million miles.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's interesting.
Centre back is a completely different animal altogether.
Not if you used to be in a 6.
Examples of right midfield, old number 4s, if you like, being right back.
Fabian Schär can play a 6.
Going back to Tommy Smith at Liverpool.
Fabian Schär can play 6. Do you agree with that?
Well, I've been touting Shea for.
So there's no difference, man.
For DM for years, and I get cut down and shot down in flames.
And he's done it before. He's done it before.
He has done it before, and he was absolutely terrible at it.
Well, I mean, but again, though, these are just band-aids, man. If you expect him to be the next greatest thing, it's not going to happen. But that's why in an emergency situation, you can be. You guys have never criticized Eddie Howe for playing Tonali as a right back, or even Chow as a right back. Chow did actually a good job at it. In the same game. So that's a big change, if you will, to having to do that.
Yeah, but there's lots of examples, though, of centre-backs also playing as right-backs, isn't there? I mean, Chancellor Mbemba was bought as a centre-back, and he played primarily for us as a right-back. I mean, James Perch was a defensive midfielder up until the point where we were absolutely cattled at right-back, and then he became our right-back, and then, was it Danny Simpson couldn't get back in? Because he did so well. And there are lots of examples.
There was a caller this morning going on about, who was the kid was saying from Holland?
Botman?
Oh, Janmaat.
No.
CMD.
I'll think of it. He was our only signing in 2016, 17, I think.
Matter of fact, I would rather have Chow as a right back than Lewis Miley. We ain't even thinking about that either.
Who are you going to play centre back?
Lascelles or Murphy. Yeah, I mean, Lascelles or Murphy.
Lascelles is still crooked.
How do we know Lascelles? Well, there you go.
Schär and Murphy.
Tony saying Anita win.
Vernon Anita, that's him, man.
You mentioned who'd you mention? Mbemba. Yeah, that's a good point. But Mbemba wasn't that big of a center back though. He could probably do the job. He wasn't slow. That's the thing. Optics is a big thing, man. Because like for example, playing somebody like Botman, even a right back against Mbemba, who's going to be faster, who's going to be able to keep up. It's not the same. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure Mbemba wasn't tall at all. I'm not sure, but I had to look it up. But
the one thing we do have to say is Eddie Howe's going into this game against Chelsea with his hands tied behind his back in defence, basically, isn't it? No matter, even if Hall does happen to be fit, he still hasn't got enough first-team defenders to put a full team of first-team defenders on the pitch. So I think we do have to remember that as well.
True. Well, the question remains, folks. Go on, Win. Is that what you had to say?
I was just going to say, it'll be all the more successful result when we beat them.
Let's hope so.
Which I've got no doubt we will do.
Embarrassing yourself as usual. Who do you want right back? Who do you want at right back versus Chelsea? To me, this is a win by Leo Shahar. Because 52% say Miley, because that's the hypnotized fans. Murphy, surprisingly, only got 8%. 8. Jacob Murphy. I mean, he's been knackered, to be honest. Last time he played there, he was knackered. But, I mean, at least he's done it. He's got the speed for it. Leo Shahar with 40%. That is a win for Shahar, man, because Shahar has no fans. No fans. So, that is a win, man. I'm telling you. Common sense prevails, ladies and gents.
This is American democracy. Miley gets 52%.
I'm just saying, man.
Shahar gets 40%.
How many
but it's a
followers
win
Shahar
for
has?
Shahar. Yeah.
Because not even Shahar's mom voted for Shahar.
Good old Biden.
Not even Shahar's mom voted for him. She probably voted for Miley. So I'm just saying, man. I am just saying. England international in the under team since the 15 to the 19. Oh wait, man. Get the young lad. That's the perfect excuse too, you know. I'm just saying.
It is. You basically have a get out of jail free card.
Well, Shahar and Howe, both, because Howe can say, "Listen, man," he said it to Keith Downey. I don't have many rabbits to pull out of the hat. I'm just saying. And by the way,
doesn't know what's going on the training pitch tomorrow.
Where I want to know where Leo Shahar is from, because he's been at
Wolverhampton.
Wolverhampton. Yeah, that's right. He still did part of youth career at Newcastle United, of course. He's only 18, man. He's a man. There you go. So anyway, folks, we've had a good show. Thank you to all the super chatters, man. Appreciate you, all of you out there. You know, whether you're happy clapper, bedwetter, all of Toon fans alike. Thank you very much for supporting
Wolverhampton Wanderers. Start off at Wolves.
Helping us out. Wissa, Tony, Queen of Heart, Irish Assassin. Who else we got there? Wissa a lot of times. Irish Assassin of time. Thank you very much. Helsuzar. Olu Sola. Helsuzar, of course. Jordy Dan. Thank you very much, mate. Jordy Dan in the house. Tony. Animal Lecter. Thank you very much, mate. Call us again, man. He's a Jordy Yum Yum. I didn't think I'd meet another one, man. After Gary, but Gary. There you go, man.
Ronnie Turnbull. Ronnie. Get your predictions in.
Appreciate it. Listen, I gotta go eat, man. I'm knackered. I haven't eaten all day. I got some Mexican food down there.
Right over.
Some chicken, cheese, and rice with some shrimp and steak and some lovely chips. There you go, man.
Too.
It'll be
chunky
lovely.
Chips.
Do you guys got Mexican restaurants out there in the Toon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get your chips and cheese to dip it in? You have it like that?
Yeah.
No, that ain't a taco, bro.
Cheesy chips at Sunderland, man. Are you macking or what?
A chip. I'm talking about what you guys would call it crisp with melted cheese. Ooh,
tacos.
Lovely. That's not a taco, man.
Not tacos. What do they call them again, man?
Nachos.
A chip and cheese. That's what you call it.
Nachos.
Oh no, but that's nacho. That's a different type, man. I'm talking about. That's the yellow cheese, man. And also ground beef in it, all mixed up. Oh, you're knackered, man. Anyway.
There's also guacamole and
guacamole. That's right. I'm going to the Toon January 16th, baby. Just a little bit. A month from now, less than a month from now, I'll be there. Hutch, you want to come see me, man? I'll sign your autograph, mate.
Yeah.
I'll sign your autograph. Don't you worry.
I'll sign yours, mate.
Oh, you're more than likely. Yeah. You've been around County Durham, baby. That's the County Durham's finest. Hutch in the house. Folks, thank you very much. Tomorrow it is Presser with Mighty Win and Gary. So join them for that. Tomorrow's Presser, right? Tomorrow's Friday. Yeah, Presser. 9:30. What do you mean 9:30, man?
9:10.
Okay, there you go. Presser, and then the Friday Neat Show Christmas edition, baby. So get your Christmas songs lined up. We'll see you tomorrow. And, of course, match day on Saturday. And there you go. Thank you very much, all of you. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.
We're the lads.
All right,
LAB.
so-